Jonathan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm very excited for the stream. I'm a little bit nervous. I haven't been on stream ever before, so I'm very much looking forward to this because it's basically now showing off what is it, like 13 months of work or more finally to people. And I'm like very interested to see what like people on stream think, what they like, what kind of questions they have, where they have like blocking on like understanding what we're trying to do with the Wonderland engine and all that sorts of stuff. And just really looking forward to building something with you now for the next couple of hours.
Yeah, so we just had a follower, and I didn't turn the alerts off, so you probably didn't hear it, but there was an alert going straight through your intro.
Oh, great! No, I actually saw that because I'm like we're connected over Discord here,
Yeah,
but I also look at your stream to see you, but you're emotionally reacting to what I say about like 5 seconds after I say it, so it's a little bit confusing. But I also see like the follow pop-ups and everything, but too late, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Blackbox, thank you very much for the follow. I should have lowered the volume a little bit, although my bot is also interfering with the volumes, and that's why the music started playing again. So hopefully it will be a little bit better now. Let me lower it here a little bit as well.
Cool.
So we should have a little bit of music very far in the background, and if something happens, then it shouldn't be too loud anymore.
Great. Awesome.
Donner, welcome as well. Donner Canali, also a streamer as well.
Yes, I know. We had a very, very, very brief conversation about WebGPU on the WebXR channel, like the 2-message conversation, you know. Yeah, cool. All right, so redoing the intro basically. So I'm Jonathan. I'm the developer of Wonderland Engine at White Rabbit. We also do Construct Arcade, by the way, which hosts a beautiful game called Back to Space, which is also by Source Code. So we started that website around like, what is it? It's almost exactly 2 years ago. We launched at the 15th of October, 2018. So just shy a week of exactly 2 years. And we just tried to like create a place where people can find WebVR games. Finally, like one place where it's only WebVR games. And I think we succeeded in that. And we tried to push the platform, obviously, by building great games ourselves, especially Florian, who is Stryle, maybe on most Discord channels. He's doing most of like the game development of like Barista Express, for example, but also Darius, who did Iron Rails. Like we have great people building really awesome games, but we just struggled with like the technical constraints that WebXR brought with it. So like being draw call bound and all that kind of stuff. We tried to do optimizations, but generally as a game developer, you don't want to focus on the optimizations really. So with my graphics background, like graphics development background on native, I decided to, hey, this doesn't have to be this way. I can, as a graphics programmer, more or less optimize for everyone out there. And then people can just focus on building great games instead and like blow through the scope of what currently is possible. Because like games like Moonrider or Barista Express or Iron Rails already push the limits in what is doable on a website, right? Without like going intensely into like optimization topics. And yeah, so we built the Wonderland engine to do exactly that. We found that there's a tool like Unity missing for WebXR, and that is hopefully now the missing tool. It's still early in development, even though it's 13 months or even 14 probably now since I started working on this. But I think we already are in a state that you can actually build games with it and launch them and have great performance.
I was just thinking about when you first showed it. That's a year ago, I think it was. We had at the meetup then.
Yeah, at the meetup. That was in February last year. No, that can't be.
Then was it this year? before everything crumbled down. I don't remember.
That was like very shortly. Yeah, it must be this year. Yeah, it must have been like February this year. I think 25th or 28th of February or something around that time. I was in the Netherlands in Haarlem, or what was it, Utrecht, to like see all you people live. That was really, really awesome, especially since I only knew you from the stream before. So it was like really cool to like see you in real life. For you guys in the chat, he's actually a human being. He does exist. He's not just AI or like with computer generated video or something. And yeah, that was really cool. And we showed off like the first thing back then. Yeah, doesn't it? It feels really long ago.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. It was a year ago. It's yeah. Wow. February only. So yeah, I got it installed.
Cool.
I tested out that it works. So I think I still have the other scene open. Can we just go and let's just start a new project, I think. So I have an idea for a little game we should try and build. I'm not sure if we're going to make it, but at least we probably learn something from it. And I was thinking of doing a like Whack the Mole type of game where we have some random things pop up and you have to hit them with the controller. I'm not sure if we can make it, if we can figure everything out, but we might be able to do it.
Well, Wonderland Engine is also supposed to be very, what do you say, accessible. It's supposed to like really help your development workflow. It's supposed to be fast. It's fast iteration times, stuff like that. Like packaging is super fast. You already noticed with I mean, the default scene obviously doesn't have anything in it, but it takes less than a second to package. And that like allows live reloading and all that kind of stuff to happen. So I'm really hoping that we can do this because it is a simple game in like the base mechanics. So I think it's a good idea. And if we actually have time left in the end, we can always like add some assets or something.
Yeah, we can also make, if we have time left, we can also see if we can add more. Yeah. But I think we can just go into a little bit of scripting, a little bit of here and there, and see where we can take it.
Yeah.
So we just went to the folder I created up front, and I'm going to call the game Whack'em. I think that sounds like a Whack the Mole type of game. Now
you'll have to adapt the project name to it. It doesn't read it from the dialogue yet.
Okay, so we do this. And then we hit create, and we should have an empty scene. So the project is still in development. It's in alpha release now, still?
Yeah, it's like in dev, very early. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like you should expect bugs. You should expect crashes.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure that'll like crash over 10 times over the next 2 hours here.
Yeah. So yeah, I just created a new project, but I'm still seeing the old one, I think. Is that possible?
Yeah, one thing that you should do, there are sometimes issues with reloading projects in the same editor running instance. So if you want to relaunch Wonderland Engine and just open the project again, that should hopefully fix that. And I'm writing down bugs here while we go, because there's gonna be a few.
Yeah, and Donner, if you Donner in the chat asks if there will be a Q&A part. Donner, if you have questions, just ask. I will keep an eye on chat as well. But welcome. Yeah. So yeah, we have our empty project now. So I think we should create like 4 cubes, maybe.
I would recommend using the default scene, because the default scene has like some camera setup and everything for VR already. So we'll save some time by just reusing that, and we already have some objects to play with.
Yeah, we're going to do it again.
Sorry about that.
No problem. So I think I'm just going to delete this. And we're going to create a new project. Oh, we need to use the default scene.
Yeah.
That's fine. Call it Wacom save, and we call it Wacom here.
Cool. This looks familiar.
Yeah. So now I have the default scene with 2 lights. And some geometry. What should we do? Should we just delete this geometry?
Yeah.
Lila Hamster wants to know something.
Like a crash. That's a crash.
We crashed?
No? Oh, cool. Wow, still running. Wow, cool. Whew. Crash avoided.
I was reading chat. If we know, the GitHub apparently changed the default branch from master to main. Yeah, that was to be expected, Lila. It was to be expected that they would change that. There was a lot of talk about it a while ago. They should. Let's see. Can we copy this cube? Can we duplicate it?
Sadly, no.
Oh.
That is... we have a linking and duplicating feature, like kind of like prototypes in development. So you can actually duplicate this cube, edit one, and it automatically applies all the changes everywhere else too. But that's not in yet, and so copying is also not. So you'll have to create a new object.
Okay.
You do that by right-clicking root, and then selecting Add Object.
I was just moving this so we have it in it. Now people are just trying sound effects. You can't hear you can't hear them on stream, right?
No, I can't hear them. I can. I don't have the stream sound active.
Sorry? Oh, you don't have the stream sound active. Okay.
No, I just hear.
Yeah.
I just hear you via Discord because of the delay.
I'm going to mute them. Sorry, but we are just too. We're going to build a game today and not play too much with the sound effects. So we're going to root, add object, and add a mesh.
Yep, perfect. And then
here we can say we do
yeah.
a cube. And the default. Let's make it pink. Oh, and there we have it.
Yes.
So this one is bigger than the other one.
Yeah, the other one has a scaling applied.
Yeah, it's only half, so let's make this half. Limbo Feather, thank you very much for the follow.
Hi, Limbo Feather. Welcome to the Coder Sphere.
If I miss any sound effects or anything, then just shout out in chat or something. I cannot hear Jonathan if I hear the sound effects going off and the music, so I have turned everything down right here. So if I miss something, forgive me. So now we can set this to 1, or was this 1 half? I just want to have like 4 cubes. Just and this one. Nice. So this 1, 1. Oh, this one is close. So this should be similar. Yes.
Cool.
Let's see. Let's add 1 more. Then we have 3. I think that's good enough for now. We can also add more later. Let's do the same thing. We add a mesh. It's a primitive cube. It is a pink cube, and it has to be half of what it was. Halfway up. And then just move it around. Here's something. Then round it off so it's that equal. Oh, it should be 3, I guess. There we go. Now we have 3 cubes. So you can move around with the WASD keys and your middle mouse button, like Unity does as well. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got that from Unreal Engine actually. I just wanted to be consistent with similar engines so that people feel familiar, more or less.
Sanders, welcome. Wait, the light didn't change? Oh, I think you have to add a pound sign to change the light. The only Mr. Man asks, Jonathan, how many games are built with Wonderland Engine at the moment?
Currently, we're building 2 games that are not released yet, but released games there are none. The Constructor Arcade VR Hub is actually built in Wonderland Engine. If you want to hop over there and like try that out, the Constructor Arcade VR Hub is like the bottom right button.
Oh yeah.
And that is basically baked in Blender, and we're just put the assets here and like yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, and it is also a great way of going through games in VR.
Yeah.
But it's kind of weird to do something like this in a browser window, but you can just go in and go play games from here in your browser. And I picked a totally random game here.
Great game, by the way.
I'm going to turn on my music a little bit. It's weird to not hear anything. I'm so used to have the music playing in the background. Is the music playing on stream still? Or is it? No, it's not.
I don't have music either. I wish I had some music.
Or is it? Is it? Oh, it's really. So yeah, I use this tool and I can change the volume a bit, and I can just turn it off for me only and have the stream music in the background. Yeah, it's just to fill in the silence. I should be able to. Well, I'm not going to look into that. If might turn it off later if it's too loud. If I cannot hear you again, Jonathan. Okay, so now we have 3 cubes. Now I actually want to show this I want to look at this in VR. What's the best way of doing it? Is it just running it and then we'll see?
Yeah, definitely. So if you hit the play button, it'll package and launch the browser.
But it's automatically packaged.
Automatically packaged and run. This is exactly the live thing. This is no preview or anything. This is exactly what you're gonna see if you deploy this to a website. It's optimized to the max, and yeah.
Oh, this is cool. And this is live reloading as well?
Yeah, so if you move that and hit package the hammer up there, that's also Control-Shift-P.
Control-Shift-P. Okay, so say I want this to be like green.
Yeah.
Now
You're changing the material, and the material is applied to all 3 objects.
Oh,
that's why all the objects change, right? If you want to create a new material, we'll do that in a second. But
yeah, I think blue is better color for these. It should be blue. So let's make them blue. Now we hit Control-Shift-P. Oh yeah, you see it reload?
You see it packaged, and now
it's already done. Oh, that's cool.
That's cool, huh? And the nicest thing, like the best thing, is that this works on Quest 2. Like on the Oculus Quest, this will have reloaded also if you have the page open. So it's like super nice workflow to actually work in WebXR here as well.
Okay, now I want to see it in VR as well. So I think we're going to check it out in VR. Could be possible.
The only thing you have to
now I cannot hear you anymore.
VR.
Let me quickly check if it works. I should be able to go. Now you should be able to see me, and I should be able to refresh the page. Now we did a little bit of setup up front to get this to work, so I'll go to show that in a second, but it should be able to hit VR. Yes, so now we have it in VR. So there is the 3 cubes. Now I notice they are a bit far away, but if we just move them around a little bit, we can make a really big hammer and just whack them as they are. But I think we should be more in the center around them. That last one is a bit too far away there.
One thing that you'll notice that Wonderland Engine units are basically meters. So you have half a meter wide cubes here. That means with 0.5, it's like half a meter. So you can roughly orient yourself in the real world and think, okay, if this is 2 meters apart, it's going to be hard to reach, so I'm going to make it 1.5 meters apart or something like that.
So where is this? Oh, it's just placed for the demo scene probably.
So if you Or if you look around in the scene, you'll find the player. It's behind you roughly there.
Oh, there it is.
And
Yeah.
make sure to hit G before moving that because it switched to the scaling gizmo.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I probably hit D or something S to scale.
Yeah, it happens easily because of the WAS and D movement. Then sometimes you hit S while having the cursor outside of the scene view, and then like it switches. So you'll have to switch back to like G is grab, like in Blender.
Yeah.
It's grab for translation, R for rotation, and S for scale.
You don't have a toolbar or something yet, right?
Not yet, but people requested that already, so it's it's coming. But
I hope you don't mind me just.
Yeah, sure. I appreciate that. Like this is early in development, and there's like loads of things that could be done, and I'm happy if you inspire me to like do new stuff.
I will just scream, "Ah, we need a toolbar," and then. So I think we're going to move this to the center. So then we can place. Then we have. It will be easier to orientate where we should place the cubes, I think.
Yeah.
So if we just move this to there, and we keep it at 180. I think.
Yeah, that's a big person, but it's fine.
It's a big person. Yeah, it's eye level, so it might be. Well, we can change it to 170. That's my height about my eye level, I think.
Did you already set up hand tracking in WebXR for the Quest? Did you do something there before?
You mean in Wonderland Engine?
No. In general, like something. Did you use hand tracking in WebXR?
Oh yeah,
yet?
yeah. The hand tracking. Well, on the Quest, I've used it.
Okay, so the flag is active.
In the Quest, yes, I can use hand tracking. If I don't use the controls, it switches to hand tracking.
Okay, then we'll do something really cool. We're gonna add hand tracking to this project now, just because we can.
So you have to whack the mouse with your hand.
I guess you can also remove it later. I don't know. It's just to show off a bit.
It will be cool if you just can whack your hand and then. But then they have to be really close. And I'm probably going to hit the lights that are standing around here. Yeah, I've done that before. So a while ago we were playing Lies Beneath, a horror game, and it is pretty narrow here. So I was hitting my hands against the roof here. It's just right beside me. And it was just turning around and hitting everything, hitting the mic. It was a mess. but fun.
I bet.
It's dangerous to work in such a small space in VR. Let's move this to the center again. No, the other way. This center. And then we stand here, so half a meter in front of us would be fine. And then we're just going to eyeball this one. And this one. Let's make this 25. So it's 25 centimeters, and this one is 25 centimeters as well. Let's create nice numbers. Let's package this for a second, so we can check it out, at least in the browser. So we are standing a little bit close now.
Maybe move that a bit further out. I like the one right and left. They seem pretty cool.
Yeah, so this one should be a little bit further. So yeah, it's probably because we placed it half a meter forward there. But we are... the cube, it's the center of the cube, and the cube was half a meter wide as well, so we are just standing in almost inside the cube. 0.75, that might be better. So we refresh, we go to the browser again, and there we go. That's better. So we have one there, we have one here, and we have one there. It might be even that we can move it further even. I wonder if we can touch these. Let's move it. Let's move it to a meter. And I want to rotate the camera to the front. I guess R is for rotating. Yeah. So this is a quaternion rotation we have here?
Yes, it's quaternions. The entire scene graph and like the shaders, everything is quaternion based, which played very well into the skinning that we just released with the last version. But it makes everything faster because generally the idea is that quaternions need less multiplications than matrices.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the many optimizations we did to just like max out the.
But the question is, what is? I'm not that good with quaternions. What is to the front? That just.
The thing is that depends on what the other values are. So I highly recommend you just use the widget. But you can still copy the rotations probably pretty easily because if you only rotate one axis, it's very clearly.
Yeah.
Is that not rotating? Oh, you're rotating the player though.
Yeah, I want to have the camera looking forward.
You probably can do that by just zeroing out the first three. That's a normalized default quaternion if you just do 0, 0, 1. That's a good thing. Maybe there should be like some way to reset the transformation.
So now this is forward. So when I'm looking into this direction, so we need to rotate 90 degrees in that direction, then we're fine. So we can do that. So we are looking there. So if we rotate 90 degrees in this direction, if we do about 90, we will probably can round it off in the quaternion.
No, probably not. Quaternions are really not very cooperative. Oh, it might be actually dot 7.
Yeah, I assume it will be dot 7 minus
dot 7. Wow. There should be like some snapping or something. We always thought about that.
Because, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, Donner, we answered your question. I have to look the video back. No, there are no games released yet with the engine.
Yeah.
But there will be. They are in the making.
Yeah, exactly. The Constructicade VR Hub is the only published application with Wonderland Engine at the moment.
He was asking about supporting iOS. Oh, there was another question. I missed that question. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I missed that one too. We are intentionally not supporting iOS. It's not because we are like, hey, we don't like Apple or something. It's just it makes things so much simpler to work with WebGL 2. You can just do so many awesome optimizations with that compared to WebGL 1. So we're just like, we decided, hey, we're not going to support WebGL 1. It's only WebGL 2. We're a WebXR focused graphics engine, which means that like VR comes first, and VR has the biggest performance and tooling problems WebXR wise at the moment. So that's the problem we're currently tackling and looking at. There is a chance for WebGL 2 on iOS though. I'm following the WebKit repository on GitHub, and I'm especially watching the like commit history on the WebGL 2 WebGL 2 files, and it looks like they're actually actively working on that still, or like at the moment, I don't know. There's nothing announced yet, so I'm just hoping that not Wonderland Engine will support iOS, but iOS will support Wonderland Engine in like, I don't know, a couple of months. And obviously, once WebGPU is out, we're gonna be supporting WebGPU because that's even more awesome than WebGL 2. But that's gonna take a while until that is consumer ready. At the moment, you have to like install experimental browsers to like even. People are seeing ads right now apparently. Yeah, but at the moment you need to like install experimental preview browsers and then even activate a flag to even be able to access WebGPU. So it's way too early that we did much of experiments with that yet.
I think they should Apple should just support one of it.
Well, for that, people need to do awesome stuff with Wonderland Engine, and maybe one day it'll be like Apple not being able to not support it anymore. But I don't know.
I just shared a link to, well, that's not the WebGL, it's the WebXR. There is a bug filed on WebKit, and every other thing they will do with WebXR is linked to that little bug. So if you want to follow what they are doing in WebKit with WebXR, you can follow that bug and just check it out every now and then and see what's in the tree there. It's yeah, I just keep an eye on all those little things. I've got to keep an eye on what Chromium is doing, and I recently found this one for WebXR on WebKit, which is pretty cool.
Nice, cool. Well, we'll still not support WebGL 1, even if they come out with WebGL with WebXR support. So that's just, you heard it here first. We're WebGL 2, and like we did a lot of experiments with trying to have a WebGL 1 renderer also, but it was just not worth it, especially in this like early stage of the application. It would just cost too much maintenance to try to keep it up to snuff with like the WebGL 2 renderer. So we made this very, very conscious decision of, okay, like Apple has a huge market share in like 3D rendering and like usage on websites, but we are going to drop that for the sake of the WebXR people, which means like you get a decent engine finally for WebXR, and using it especially on the Quest, you get a way to like release your game easily on the Quest without going through the store or the new store whenever it comes out.
Yeah, and then let's hope Apple Facebook will cancel the requirement to have a Facebook login.
Yeah, that'd be cool, because I can't order the Oculus Quest 2 here in Germany.
No, they completely blocked it. That's well, there was a lot of stuff going on. There was a paper came out, I think it was yesterday, on the lawsuits that were going on against Facebook, and they might even need to allow other browsers to run on the Quest as well. So like what happened to Windows, that Microsoft could not force you to use IE. They have to add something that you can choose what browser you want to use. Back then the other vendors were like, yeah, Microsoft, you should allow other browsers. And now Microsoft says, well, yeah, now you have to allow other browsers. And I think Mozilla with Firefox Reality is the happy one in this case, because that might be a better browser than the Quest one, the Oculus one.
Yeah, might be. It's just harder to access. So I'm literally mostly using the Oculus browser, but for exactly that reason, because the default browser button is just so much easier to access, and doing these 1 or 2 clicks more is just inconvenient for Firefox Reality. I also had the feeling that the performance was a little better in Oculus browser, but I didn't do testing, so that might just have been like Burst Express and that only case or something. I don't know. So don't quote me on that, please.
Let's continue the game. I think we should add something where we can show a sphere on top of the cubes. Can we add like a placeholder object where we can query from code?
The way you'd probably do it is like with Unity components. You just add a component to that object, and then you marked it for like whatever code you have in that component.
We have an empty one. Is that what we can use for that?
Ideally just use an empty on like as a child of one of the boxes, for example. Then you can align it nicely and stuff.
Oh, it's one of the boxes. That's an even better idea. So we have. Can we cannot move
now you're returning the.
So we can do this. We can. So we have an empty one here, and now we need to move it.
Exactly. It just keeps the transformation that it had before the parenting. But if you just reset it to 000, you can actually get to.
Oh, and it's even scaled it up. So now it's at the center of the cube. If we move it up like half a meter, it should be at the top of the cube. So if we rotate
yeah,
this around a little bit and we look from down, we can see it's almost up there.
Like it's a bit in the bottom. Why would that be? That's because.
So this is the center of the cube. This empty one is positioned according to the center of the cube, and I moved it up 0.5 meter. This one is 1 meter by 1 meter, so one is at the top now.
So that's because of the scaling. The scaling actually makes it so that the 0.5 here is 0.25.
We need to go to 1.
Put it to 1, exactly.
That's something to keep in account. I think Unity is doing that as well.
Yeah, that's standard practice. I hope Blender does that too. And if you name it differently, you can just change the name to find it more easily later, and then call it like, I don't know, mold spawn. Maybe could be a good name.
Just give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry about it. So let's do the same thing. Now, if we select this mesh here, we say right click, add object empty. We get it right away. We move it up 1 meter and we are at the top. And then we do the same here, add empty, move it up 1. There we go. Now we need to rename these to mole spawn as well. Can we have them have the same name?
Yeah, they can, because they're referenced only by IDs, but it's going to make it a little bit harder to find them in Dropboxes if you have object parameters for your components later on. So if you call them,
if you do 1,
like that,
2,
on the safe side,
and 3. So now we have 3 mole spawns. So I think we can just spawn a mole and then say every certain interval we just wait a random time and then we show one for like 2 seconds and then it disappears again.
Well, that sounds awesome. How about we just do exactly that right now?
Yeah.
Right click here where you are, exactly, the new JavaScript component. You'll notice some wonkiness with the renaming of that custom JS, but if you double click the name or rename, exactly, yeah.
Oh yeah, we can do
I don't
rename,
know if double clicking actually works. Rename, and then make sure to keep the .js, but
yeah, just
rename it to
mole spawner.js. Yep. Enter, and now if I double click it, it should open in my default editor. There we go.
Yeah. And yeah, so you'll notice it looks exactly like an A-frame component.
Yeah.
And maybe also comparable to Unity because it actually has the start. That is something that Florian really pushed for here, because start will always be executed after init of all other components. So you can like do like very easy dependencies by that.
So update is called every frame.
Exactly. It has the delta time. Like exactly.
Oh, that's cool. So we can keep track. Now, does this work the same way? So if we would say we have this time equals 0, and we say this time. Now we just keep track of the time frame independent.
Perfect.
Let's remove these we don't need. And then we say if this time is bigger than a certain value, which we can define. Are these seconds or milliseconds?
These are float seconds.
Okay, so
you can try to do something fun. Just do this.param, because this.param will use the parameter you have up there, a float parameter. You can also rename that to like, I don't know, time threshold or something. I don't know.
Oh, this one. Oh,
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And we have a float here.
Yeah, and it's default 1, so it'd be 1 second.
And can we just do more if we want to have 2?
And you can do wl.type and integers, enums, which is really cool, enums, because enums actually, then these all create UI in the editor, right?
Oh
so
yeah,
you'll
because
have
it's
like
type. Oh, that's cool.
stuff
Yeah.
like that. So
So yeah, I was looking for the IntelliSense, but we probably don't have IntelliSense yet.
so
We will make
I
it.
can tell you which file you have to include if that helps you, but I don't have much experience with like JavaScript IntelliSense stuff. So you'll have to tell me what you need. There's one
I
file
know.
to include the entire API, and then you could have IntelliSense.
I have no idea.
I
But I think I will figure that out at some point. Maybe I'll do a blog post about it or something.
That'd be really awesome because that's something I wanted to look at for so long but just don't have the time to.
So if we do this like delay and we do another parameter and that is there's a time it should stay up. How can we call that?
Time maybe?
Time?
Or
yeah,
lifetime. Lifetime, like it's alive on the top or
lifetime. So we do like 3 seconds and 2 seconds. Well, let's do 5 seconds and then 2 seconds so we really see the difference.
Can easily iterate over that later with the UI, so that's
this
cool.
This will be just the defaults.
One thing you really need to do still, otherwise you won't find this component, is change line 1 the custom 0. The custom 0 is the name of the component type.
So we need to call this mole spawner, and then this will be we can find this in the drop down list or something with the components. Okay, cool. So we start. This just starts running. We don't need to start in this case. I think we can say this delay. We need to have a variable to say if it's visible or not. So, but that we don't have to open that up. So we can just say this visible, or is visible a defined property? Are there defined properties?
No, it's not. You would have to get the mesh component and then like change the mesh component or something. But
so there are no hidden properties except what we define.
There are. It's object, for example. This.object is one of those properties. This.type is also one of those properties. But like that is, yeah. If you go to wonderlandengine.com, you can check the JavaScript API and get like a brief overview of that. And then documentation, and that should try a hard refresh because yeah, exactly, that's not there anymore. So try going back and just refreshing the website. I broke that just before, and now you have the JavaScript API.
Oh yeah, it's here.
Yeah. So you'll see all the like types that are currently there, and with a component, you actually have the component that you're currently in. So what you're currently editing is a subclass of this, which means you have type, you have object, you have active, and you can like check out the types and everything, except that my documentation is apparently not great because object is a object, obviously. So if you check the object class on the left, you can figure out what that would do.
But because I was already thinking ahead a little bit, we need to grab the position of an object because we need to spawn another object there. So we probably need to go in this object and get the position.
Yep.
We'll get to that in a second.
Cool.
We are making progress already.
Yeah.
So if this delay, visible is false. If this is bigger than delay and this, and let's do it like this, and this, not this visible, then we need to spawn. We say, well, let's do. I'm assuming we can just do console logs here. And then we do if. Oh, we need to do this time equals 0. So we just reset it to 0, and then it just keeps on counting. And then we say.
Oh, wait, this visible.
Oh yeah. So if it's not visible, we spawn and we set this visible to true. So this moment we should have something we could whack. And then we just basically copy this line to here, but we say if it's bigger than lifetime and it is visible, Then we go hiding. Time is 0 and visible is false. And then in a few seconds or minutes, we're going to change these console lines to do something for real. But now we should be able to go into Wonderland Engine again. And see if we can add one to the mole spawner over here. So I assume we hit component. And is it on this list?
It does not automatically add scripts, because otherwise it will just glob all the scripts, and that's just not a good idea because you might not be using all the scripts. So what we need to do is add this script to the project. And you do that by clicking on views in the top menu bar.
Yeah.
And finding project settings there.
Project settings, yeah.
Here you have a list of all scripts that are used. So if you add scripts or add script, yeah, and then just double click that, then it'll be parsed and loaded. And now if you add the component, it'll be there.
Cool. So now we go to properties here. Yeah. Right. And now we should have JavaScript mole spawner at the end here. Great. There is a suggestion in chat as well. So the only Mr. Man is also working along with the stream. Maybe switch out the toast notification when surfing for a silent output message, but I'm right.
Toast notification. I never heard that. That's cool. That's a cool term for that. Is that for saving? Yeah, saving is. I heard someone complain about that before. I'll note that down. That's a good idea.
Limbo Feather is asking if Florian is there as well. I think you're alone, right?
But maybe Florian is in chat. I don't know. Let me check if he's online. No, he's not online.
No, Florian is not here. Do you have a question for Florian then, Limbo?
I just wrote him. Maybe he'll be back.
We can pass it on. So we have. Oh, look. I was looking at chat, not looking at the window. But we have. So we have an active property. This is probably if the script is doing anything, and we have the two properties we just added. So that's great.
And
now
you'll actually note, like, one thing you'll definitely have to, it's not enabled by default, but go to like the settings thing next to localhost 8080 on the top center.
This one? Watch
yes.
JavaScript.
Sorry, I was looking at the stream and I was confused that the mouse didn't move. If you click that, and now you make any changes to like the property, it'll also auto reload this and change the UI according to whatever you set in the parameters, right? And it'll also give you a fancy notification in case you used JavaScript ES6 or something, because at the moment, sadly, the JavaScript parsing engine only supports ES5.
Oh, okay.
25? I get confused with all those versions, but so you can't use like arrow notation. You should avoid that, and you can't use const or what is it, of, for, of.
Yeah, the fancy things. Oh, I might run into these. I am really using the arrow functions a lot.
Yeah, me too. I'm really sad that this is the case. I'm using like a C++ embedded JavaScript runtime here that is super lightweight, but the lightweightness also comes with a lack of ES6 support. We are going to probably bundle Node. I have an internal discussion with my people about this, because Node would also bring NPM, which is great because then you could in the future develop editor plugins with Node and NPM, which would be insane. Like, imagine you can just like edit this with JavaScript to the max. But it also brings in like the world of viruses. So if you share like editor plugins and stuff, then I'd be concerned about Wonderland Engine community being infected by stupid NPM-based viruses or something. So
yeah,
I don't know.
But the idea is pretty cool.
But that'll fix the ES6 compatibility, and it'll also allow for all sorts of other cool stuff. It's been on my list for way too long, but until then, we'll be using ES20.
But now,
15,
if we
25.
run this, this is the JavaScript. I was just curious what this tab would do.
That's the output of the JavaScript parsing, and usually also outputs errors. Actually,
yeah.
I'm not too sure. I think the errors only pop into the console, so you might need to like switch off the info messages for that or something. I don't know.
And this is the server. Oh, that's what's serving the files. Okay, I'm just curious. But if we just run this, we package again, refresh. There is an error going on there. Is that something we need to?
I can't read it because it's too.
Oh, it's too small. It
low
says
res.
error. It cannot open stream Wonderland/js. It's expecting a
no
JS engine folder.
Yes, that's because the JS folder by default is in the project settings configured as a JavaScript folder.
Oh yes. Oh, this
because you're not using that and didn't create it, and the default project doesn't create it either. Yeah, exactly.
Probably if we don't use them, we can probably remove them here. Oh, this one we cannot remove.
No, you shouldn't remove that because that's the editor default components.
Not JS as well?
Can you save the project real quick?
Yeah.
Just Control S. Yeah, cool. Just like because the engine might be crashing things, we need to save so often as we can, as often as we can.
I cannot
remove that
no.
because things like the hand tracking component or like other JavaScript components which are shipped with the editor by default, they are in that folder, and removing that folder would confuse a lot of people because you can't just trivially add it again.
Okay, but we don't have that error anymore, so we fixed it probably. So now if we run this, we should be able to see that message. Probably if we go to the console. Is it running?
It should be running. You can scroll. You can tell by it said what is it? Create a component 1 of type mouselook on object. That's like that logs like which components it created, and it's missing the component that we want here. So that is still.
It didn't load the component.
Did not load the component.
Now it did.
Now it did. Yeah.
So now after it's spawning, and it's hiding again. Oh, cool. And now it should be after a few seconds, it'll be spawning again. I think it's too fast. Okay, that's cool.
Nice.
It works. Done. No.
It's a game. You just play it via text. You just watch it.
Well,
okay.
You'll be amazed what's possible. I saw this game, and it was running in the address bar. I mean,
what?
Insane. Just a game that can be played in the address bar by using some font that is used for Braille with only dots, and they created Flappy Bird. I mean,
crazy. Donna Knolly in the chat. No, that is different. That's not your R URL.
No, I shared the right one.
Yeah, but Donna Knolly found one that is definitely not us. In Germany, you can register companies with the same name as long as they do different things or are registered at different countries.
I wonder if they are from Germany. Yes. You are from Germany, right?
We are from Germany, but wonderlandgmbh.com I don't think is. I don't know.
I don't know the URL. Wonderlandengine.com is the right one.
Florian is in the chat also, by the way. I'm Jonathan. Just clear that up. I don't know, Donatelli, whether you were talking to Florian or to me.
Okay.
So sorry, I'm totally distracting from game development here. Can I guide you a bit here? I have a rough idea how I would implement this, and I can guide you through.
Yeah, because I have no idea what to do next. We need to spawn something, but I really don't know what to do.
So my idea is we can do the spawning maybe via the scale for now. Just scale it up, scale it down again or something.
Oh, interesting.
That means you would just have the spawn itself be the mole, add a mesh component to that, a sphere, and the mesh component, and then it would just scale itself up on visibility and scale itself down on hiding.
So add it as a component then?
Yeah, just add a mesh there. Then you'd select the sphere, make it a beautiful color.
Let's do the pink one again.
Yeah, cool. You can also use one of the other default assets. Also, importing assets is not hard, right? You can just, for people watching, you can just drag and drop a GLB, FBX, OBJ file, whatever, into the asset browser down there, and then drag it into the scene view. And then you also have a mesh that's imported.
Oh, I thought I set it to pink. Oh yeah, I changed the pink material to blue. So we have a material that's called pink, but it's called blue.
You want to rename that?
Thank you very much for the follow.
That's like...
Sorry.
Israel Rabbit, that must be Florian. That's Florian.
That's Florian.
So if you want to rename that pink, just as a like OCD thing to do,
yeah,
you can go to views and the resource view.
View?
Like in the menu at the top, go to views and then the resources view.
Yeah.
And that lists all the resources you currently have inside the editor.
That's cool.
So here is where you also rename these kind of things. So if you double click that, it should rename that.
You can say
blue. Beautiful. Now it'll hopefully also rename that everywhere else. So it'll be, if you click on one of the boxes, it'll be blue.
Blue. Great. So now we have yellow and blue. Yellow and blue is fine.
No. Now we have them all. And we also have the script applied. So one thing that we could do is just move it up and down or scale it or do whatever. So let's add that.
Yeah, let's add that. Let's I think moving it up and down might be better because then we can scale. I think it's too big now, so then we can scale it smaller.
Cool. Let's do that.
Just a little bit. Let's scale it down a little bit. Let's say 75% of the sphere. So there's a little bit of room around the edges.
That's cool.
And then we go to the script. Now when we start, we should move it down.
Yeah.
And on start probably. So we do this object, I guess. And then it's translation.
You would probably do reset translation rotation here. Because so one of the side effects of this being quaternions and being super fast because it's quaternions is that rotation and translation and so on doesn't work like matrices do. So exactly, you do reset transformation and rotation, which just sets it to 0, everything, which will make it hide in the box actually, because the origin is inside the box, right?
So we need to call both reset translation, rotation, and transform, or only translation?
Reset transform also resets the scaling, and you don't want that. So you only do reset translation rotation.
We copy this. Go here, and we do this. Oh, with 2 dots.
Exactly. So it'll be hidden by default, and now you can just.
Yeah, but I want to have the scale. I want to keep the scale, but move it down.
Yes, it will be moved down because the reset rotation is inside the cube, right? You moved it up to make it visible.
Oh yeah. I moved this one up a meter to show it. So now we can. It's at 0 again. So we need to move it 1 meter up when we show it, and then we move it 1 meter down if we want to hide it again.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that. So when we are spawning, and now we say, I think it's translate. Let me just check the documentation here.
There's translate, yes, somewhere.
Oh yeah, translate there. With the vector.
Yep. The vector is any array-like object.
With probably X, Y, and Z in that order.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's do translate and do. I would already.
No, this is something else. I don't know.
It's just
Canvas transform does not belong to Wonderland Engine.
Let's do 0, 1, 0.
Yeah, but put it in square brackets because it's.
Oh yeah, it's an array. Do we need to make sure it knows it are floats or doesn't?
Nah, it's just number. In JavaScript, it's all the same.
Yeah, it's JavaScript, right? It's all the same. JavaScript rules with those kind of things.
Yeah, well, it also brings a lot of problems.
I had this bug. I think it was yesterday. It took me a while to figure it out, but it was yesterday evening. And I wrote a string concatenation, but I used single quotes. And normally, when you have two characters in C#, so normally when you have two characters between single quotes, you get an error. In this case, I had one character, and it just showed me a number, and I was trying to figure out debugging two numbers, but it was just not working, and it was showing one number. I was just completely confused, and then I figured out, well, I'm just showing the number of a character instead of a string. Yeah, it just one of the things when switching from C# to JavaScript back and forth, you just start messing those things up. So this would. Now we need to move it down one. If we translate twice, do we go up 1 meter? We don't set the position. We move it a meter, right?
It's not set translation, so it does exactly that. So if you do twice, translate by 1, then it translated by 2.
Okay, so if it's correct now, we go up 1 and we go down 1.
Yep.
Well, let's test it, I guess.
Yeah, it already reloaded the browser.
It already did? Because we changed the file.
Because you changed the JavaScript file, yes. Because we're in
there it
web world
goes.
and everything is fast.
We have an unknown type name?
Yes, that's engine based.
Okay.
That's my problem.
We just.
Okay, it may not have reloaded the JavaScript. I don't know. This is a little.
Let's make sure.
It's not, or did it do what it was supposed to?
No, it should. It was hidden, but it didn't. Oh, there it goes.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh, it works. The 5 seconds. There it is for 2 seconds again.
That suspense is real.
Yay! It works. Cool. And now we have to copy this 2 times, which is easy now.
Yep. Except that we don't have copy and paste, so we need to add the components manually.
Yeah, but it's 2 components.
Yeah.
So we just add the mole spawner here, and we add the mole spawner here.
Yeah.
And then we need to add another component, which was the mesh. And just configure that really quickly to a sphere. And yellow. And then we scale this down. Go. Then we need to do that again. We have the mole spawner. Now we need to do a mesh. Sphere. Yellow. And then scale it down a little bit. And now if we run the game. Go to the browser. Step back a little bit. Now they have the same values. So now they all appear at the same time. But if we change these default values a little bit. So let's make this appear after 6 seconds. And stay up for like 2.5 seconds. And then this one will go after 7 seconds and stay up for 1.5 seconds.
Cool. Control-Shift-P.
Control-Shift-P. We do. Yeah, we are going to randomize them. Oh, that's not the right one. Here we go. Let's step back. Oh, a little bit. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. There we go.
Cool.
So it kind of works. It's funny that these I just picked random numbers. And because I just picked those numbers, these will stay the same. But it works. let's have a look in VR. I really wonder how this looks in VR. So I think we should check it out, and then we know if the sizes are okay. That's something I always do when developing VR, and I think that's good practice, just to test your game or whatever you're building in VR or whatever device you're using regularly. Just because, and especially with VR, you have to get a sense of the size and how things are, in your VR world. So we're going to switch to VR and see what it looks like. So we need to refresh the browser, apparently.
Yeah, you don't hear me. I can't talk.
There we are standing here. And oh, there's one, there's another one. Can we touch them? Oh.
Oh no, what happened? How did that crash? That never happened.
No, this never happened. No one saw that.
One thing that you need to keep in mind is that you need to exit VR on the Quest, otherwise the browser is not allowed to reload. So if you exit VR after every test, then it'll automatically have reloaded the browser before you put it on.
Okay, so I'm going to...
But it is exited. I saw
it
on
is
stream.
exited. Because it crashed.
Yeah.
It exited because it crashed, so...
It's cool. So I never got the browser to crash. That's cool.
That's new. It doesn't say anything.
No, that's just Oculus browser acting up.
Yeah.
Maybe about WebAssembly or something, but
cool.
Usually doesn't happen. So
now we need to debug that and send a bug to Oculus.
I do hope not.
Fun fact: Wonderland Engine does not crash. Your computer just forgets how to do math for a second. It is that we disabled these sound effects.
How to do math for a second?
Yes.
I don't get that joke. Foreign, I don't get it.
But now the fun part starts. Let me save it before we lose it. We need to whack them.
Add controllers. Do you want to just add in the controller meshes that are in the VR guide? So the VR Quick Start guide has this download, and you,
I downloaded those.
I think you already downloaded that file.
Yeah.
Can you do that like on stream without like giving away all your data?
Downloading them or loading them in?
Yeah, loading them in. Just drag dropping it into the scene loader. I think it downloads.
I'm prepared.
Yeah, just.
Can I just drop them in here?
Yep. Yes. We're trying to make the workflow as convenient as possible. So if you drag this into the player.
There we go.
Yeah.
We have a left Quest controller and a right Quest controller.
I meant into the player as the player object, but you can still do that.
Oh, this player.
Yeah, because the player is the player space, right? That means like if you move the player, as in teleport him around or something,
but now
everything, like his hands should move with him, right? So
now
that's usually how you try to like organize the objects here, just like.
Now the positions are probably off. Or not?
No, they're fine. Oh yeah, it doesn't matter because the position is going to be set by the controllers later anyway, right?
Yes.
So if you add an input component here, then you can already finish this controller setup. Basically, on the left you'll have input. That's one of the native components. Yep, and then make sure that that is hand
left.
Yeah.
And then the other one, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
We do input, and in this case we say right hand.
Cool. If you save, build, and check the quest, it should already work.
Let's check it out.
Famous last words by every developer.
Now it should work. just publish.
Just ship it.
Oh man.
No need to test.
Oh. check if it reload. It didn't reload, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe it was still in VR. I don't know.
We have to interrupt this. Donna just subscribed.
Donna Nally, welcome to our group.
Subscribed for 7 months already. Wow. Donna, thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Let's see if we can refresh the browser and have the controls running. It's too bad I cannot. I need to run this on speakers or something. I cannot hear you when I'm going to.
Yeah, it's fine. I usually use in-ear headphones, and that allows me to like keep the Quest on and off.
Dennis, thank you very much for the follow. It's so much fun. I cannot hear the stream or anything when I wear wear VR. So I can wear my headphones like this. That might be an idea. Controllers. Now I can hear everything. I cannot read chat. That's something I'm working on. Whoa.
This looks better. This good. No, this is great.
Yeah.
I'll tell you in a second why this looks like.
And we have controllers. Oh, they look nice.
Yeah, there you go.
Are these publicly available?
I got the link on Sketchfab where I got them from is in the VR Quick Start. I can check that out because we should credit that person because he did an awesome job on that. It's really low poly, but by the way, it doesn't need to be low poly. The Wonderland Engine doesn't have like.
No, but I do. It is the low poly look that I really like.
Yeah, definitely. It fit the quick start guide scene really well. That's why I chose those.
Now, but I think we need bigger controls.
Are the controls too small?
Yeah. Because I cannot hit it. It's too far away.
Yeah. How about you add like a stick or something on top of it?
A stick in the controls.
That's like scaled.
Yeah, we can add like a stick or maybe 2 sticks.
Yeah, or like a hammer.
A hammer. Well, yeah.
You could also get a hammer from Sketchfab or something.
Yeah, that might be fun. Just to show that process as well. Let's go exit. So these are probably just really close to the camera if they're in here, right?
Exactly. Yeah, they're in the middle of the camera because they're also on 1.8 or something like that. So like they're just in the same location as the camera. If you reset the location there in the editor to like 0, then they will not be in the face.
Oh, and they stay. Ooh, it almost looked like some plane or something you are flying.
It does, yeah. Or like Superman's castle.
Superman's castle, yeah.
Yeah, he has like this fortress of like ice and everything. So the controller model, just to credit the author, is by Jezza 3D on Sketchfab. You can find a link to them, to a Sketchfab link, by going to the Quick Start VR on wonderlandengine.com documentation.
I downloaded them from there. I was reading through this controller input. This one.
So there you have models by Jezza 3D, and if
let's just share that link. Check this guy out. Ooh, it's shiny. But we need a hammer.
Yes, sir. So we need a bit of luck with that. That
can
looks
we?
like
can
a
we?
real whack-a-mole hammer, if I ever saw one. Yeah, downloadable. Damn. We can do like a Thor whack-a-mole game. There's a lot of Thor hammers.
Are there any? Are there special effects in and particle effects in Wonderland yet?
Yeah, we have a smoke particle example also on the showcase. The sad thing is it currently doesn't work.
Oh, that's.
I need to update it to the newest version.
Then maybe a Thor hammer is not the one we should use.
But there is a particle shader, and the JavaScript is efficient enough to handle a couple of hundred particles. And since we're not draw call bound. You can just have like 100 different objects, and it's still a single draw call if it's using the same shader. Insane stuff like that that's supposed to like change the way people develop for WebXR. I saw a cool wooden hammer down on the bottom right, left.
This
like,
one.
There's one I think even below that. That one is a little cartoony and fits like a whack-a-mole, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's really low poly as well.
Super low poly, but that's...
Yeah, but it kind of fits.
It's cool.
I agree. Is it just hitting a download 3D model? Oh, I need to log in. Let's...
Maybe use Google.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if I'm going to show anything. I probably have a Google thing set up already.
All those things you need to like consider when doing a stream.
Yeah, I screwed it up so many times already.
GLTF is great.
Yeah. Then we download. Other must be credited. Commercial use is allowed. Yeah, so this is the other.
Hereby you're credited.
I'm going to even share the link. So we credited the author from
like
Australia.
The guy.
Yeah, he's really into the hammering things. Oh, we could use the blue mushroom as well.
Oh yeah, cool. Sure.
And we can then make it harder that we randomly show a rock, and you cannot hit the rock because you break the hammer. Until you have the upgrade and use a stone hammer.
Download them all. Let's go.
Well, let's first implement the hammer. I keep this page open.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Oh, the blue we need to have the blue mushroom instead of the sphere.
Definitely.
So cool.
I need to fix that smoke particles, because then you can like have like blue smoke come out of them if you hit them or something.
Yeah.
And you already have one of the most visually pleasing WebVR games ever.
Let's me.
Wow, Sketchfab, the best 3D viewer of the web. Yeah, just export, just drag and drop all of that into the asset browser. Maybe create a models folder in the Wonderland Engine.
I'm going to extract this first.
You don't have to extract it first. You can literally just drag and drop it from WinRAR into the asset browser in Wonderland Engine.
I've had so many issues with that. If that works, that's really cool. So we can create a folder here. How do we create a folder?
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. You should be able to do that there. That was right. New folder. Just looks different then.
So we have a new folder, models. We open the blue mushroom. Oh, there's one problem. We need to rename them first. Or we need...
No, you can rename them in the editor. Just drag and drop them in.
Yeah, but will that go... Maybe we need to create a folder for them, because it's scene GLTF, and the scene GLTF references the scene bin. So if we rename scene, it will still reference from inside, or we need to open up the GLTF and...
We can do that. That should be simple. I can help you with that. I know how to. You probably do too. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's probably just a text file.
So did that work?
Nope.
It did not work. Oh, okay. But you can right-click and open and explore. That is a really important thing. In models.
Oh, here, the other way around. Yeah.
Yeah.
There.
So if you right-click models and show in folder, then that shows the models folder in the folder.
And then we can go.
That originally did not work in Unreal Engine when I first started using Unreal Engine. And I was so annoyed with that back 2 years or 2.5 or 3 years ago. That is one of the first things that Wonderland Engine has.
So now we can drag this from there to there. That works. Oh, now it immediately shows up here, and the textures folder is there as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now we go back here. We probably need to edit this. So I think, is this opening the folder as well? No, it's not. We can just open the folder. We are there already. So if we do this, now we have everything here.
Yeah. you'll notice that in deploy, there is a wonderland.js file that contains all of the JavaScript API for Wonderland Engine. So if you somehow get this embedded into autocomplete, into IntelliSense, then it'll know all the types.
Wasn't it something like reference and then, or something like this? I forgot how to do that.
What is this magic? What is that called? Is that what kind of completion is that?
I don't know. I have seen something like this. Wonderland JS. Is this how it works? Do we have IntelliSense? No, we don't. We probably are close. Let's quickly.
I'm trying to Google for you, but I literally have no idea what to Google for because I don't use Visual Studio Code and I don't know what kind of plugin that is. Oh well, Google stuck into me.
But did your PC make a sound?
Yeah, my my phone has Google Home.
You were talking about Google.
And Google was talking to me because I said Google.
I heard something. I was like, "What?" It's a reference. Sender is saying reference type. Is that what we need? Is that not a string?
I don't think so. It's like Visual Studio Code.
This one. I was pretty close.
Oh wow.
Just a few more slashes and it even has IntelliSense in here. Wonderland JS.
I would assume that this is relative to the file, though. I can't imagine that. So you have to like do. Oh wait.
This isn't root, so it should be.
Yeah, I usually like follow convention for projects to put everything into a JavaScript folder or something. So usually it would be .deploy, but that's obviously not the case.
Nope, we don't have anything happening here. We do have a lot of stuff. But it's probably just
WL. I think, and then dot, and yeah, there you go. The problem is that this object, it doesn't know the type of this object because it's not a clear subclass of WL component. And that's also one of the reasons why I thought of like having a different where you would do subclasses instead of. But that's just currently how it is.
There was a way of doing that as well.
Crazy.
So there's a lot of I've been doing a lot of these things as well. I forgot. I will figure it out and I will do a blog post about it or something. There is a lot of things you can do to just if you do documentation, just JS documentation on your functions, you will just tell your JavaScript what things are. You can add that to a function, and then in this case, it doesn't know what DT is. That twice says any. But if you just specify the type of the function, probably not working in this. No, it's not working in this syntax. I'm not sure how to do it.
You should. Wait. I did this in Wonderland.js. If you want to look it up.
So we can do.
I did some JS docs there. This is actually something I learned from you on the stream. Like.
Yeah, we did a lot of that in Rosie.
Yeah, I remember like you doing this with like the param and then specifying the type of the param, and I thought that was so cool.
Oh yeah, it's called object here. You probably want to rename this to the component or something. If this is the component.
Yeah, well, the problem is it isn't really, but try making it wl.component, and if that fixes it, I'll just make sure to change that. Because it's not officially a WL component, right? It's an object that will be cast to a WL component, but
no,
try this object. No, it doesn't work.
We will figure it out at some.
Okay. It'll be overwritten with the next package anyway.
Anyway, what were we doing? So we're
We
going to,
downloaded
yeah,
the
we're going to, we
model.
had
We want
to,
to embed the model.
so we have a
And
GLTF file, and there should be a scene bin in here. So
Yeah.
if we rename the file, we should rename the bin as well.
Yeah, make it hammer. I think it's the hammer, right?
And that's the mushroom.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You downloaded both?
I downloaded both, yeah. So it says blue mushroom base color.
Okay. Sure.
Mushroom GLTF. And then we say mushroom bin, and then we go here, we say mushroom bin. Save GLTF, otherwise it doesn't work. Let's check for sure it's not anywhere else. So yeah, we got this working. So now we have a mushroom. I think it should be enough. I hope there's no reference to the file in bin as well, but I don't think so.
No, there isn't.
Otherwise, we just open the file up in like the 3JS online editor or something and export it back to the.
You can also do that in Blender,
GLB.
but it'll work. Trust me, this is great. It's a lot of work.
So now we can just drop in the hammer as well. Now it's mushroom. Let's take the hammer, go here, drop it in, and we have the hammer.
Awesome.
And let's be nice and do a hammer. Scene and call this
Shammer.
hammer. Shimmering hammer. Okay, now we have our hammer and a mushroom.
Cool.
You need this VS Code team. I have to be honest, I forgot which one it was. Normally I would use Synthwave. But I was kind of bored with the Synthwave, so this is Outrunner. And I really like the darker themes. Just because there is a lot of light here right now. But I like to sit and work in the dark. And then the bright is just too bright for my eyes late at night. So yeah, I don't really like that. So let's add the hammer first. So we have the controller.
Yeah. Can I add the mesh component? Well, let's because you will probably want to offset the hammer. Having it just as a component is not a good idea. You would probably just add a new object, a mesh object, onto the left or to the right press controller. Depends on your handedness, I guess. So if you right-click that and add a mesh.
Yeah, maybe we should do. You add a mesh to the controller, just an object mesh.
Oh, right, you can just drag and drop it. Sorry, totally forgot. Yeah, you can just use drag and drop hammer.gltf, and there we go. We have a beautiful hammer.
Yeah.
And it automatically compresses the textures to bases, you see on the bottom right. While that is running, you cannot actually package, but it should be pretty quick. And it only does it once. So it'll compress your textures to bases, make the download size really fast, have it fast on, like small on the GPU as well.
Yeah, we saw it running here down in the bottom.
One thing you'll notice is that the material import currently is a little bit wonky. It imports the texture correctly, but it's super shiny, and all objects usually are super shiny when first imported. So you'll want to turn the specular color to probably black, just to like have the shininess almost, or pretty much nothing.
Yeah, so the specular color just to black.
Yeah, and then you'll notice the texture is way more prominent and looks way better.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't need a shiny hammer. Does the shininess do anything on top of that?
Well, no, only if you have the specular color active, and that is basically how big the specular highlight is,
Okay.
or how diffuse it is.
So
currently, we're using Phong shaders instead of like PBR or something. And the next release is supposed to be like the rendering release, quote unquote, with like new fancy rendering stuff like ambient occlusion, shadows, all that stuff. But I'm probably not gonna get around to implementing even half of all that. We have like clustered forward plus coming, so you can basically use 100 different light sources in your scene, or hundreds of different light sources, and it'll still run super performant. So you can do like entire cities and stuff. We have that in the pipeline. It'll probably not get done anytime soon, but that's like what we're planning in terms of rendering, also PBR eventually, and like fixing this shininess stuff on the phone. Until then, set specular to black.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was just thinking of removing the original controller, because now we would have the original controller still there.
I would leave it for now, just to keep it simple, and maybe we can like attach it to the controller, and I don't know.
And if I look at this scene, I kind of feel that the hammer is quite big.
You think?
It's probably in centimeters or something.
Yeah, I Sketchfab artists don't model to scale, so it's like there's no.
Let's do 3. Yeah, well, sometimes you have inches and foots or feet and those things just are mixed up to do weird things. I've seen it with so many packs with models. They're just weird sizes, or they are just you load them in and they are modeled in feet and you have them in meters, so they're like this, and you have to just scale them down a factor of 3 or something. And then you get them right. So yeah, let's package this. And I think we should run it in VR, because in the browser we won't see anything.
True.
So let's try it. I really wonder.
We can also add the mushroom while we're at it. Just
before we go, yeah, we can do that.
Drag and drop the mushroom just somewhere, and then we'll just replace the mesh on components that we already have. I'd suggest.
Just drop it in the root.
Yeah. Then you'll see it'll be somewhere there's a mesh component.
Yeah, it's probably. Oh, this one is really small, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we have to scale this up with a factor of.
Scaling it up won't do anything once we set it on the other mesh components, right? So if you find the mesh component, just keep opening up those until you hit the root. There, blue mushroom.
Root?
There it is.
It's blue mushroom. Yeah, it's not this one. Even this one.
It has like the little icon for the mesh component.
Oh yeah, you wrote it here.
Yeah, right. So all the component types have different icons.
To be honest, I noticed there were icons here.
Yeah.
But I even didn't realize that there were light bulbs, and I did not realize that. But it's actually so these have scripts, I assume, and meshes and lights, and these are inputs.
Yep. Exactly. And then there's one that's the view, that's the eye on the non-VR camera, and the eye left and right.
Interesting.
Yep.
So I did not notice.
You'll notice something's wrong. I think the diffuse texture is not set correctly. If you zoom into the mushroom a bit, just like move to it, then you'll probably notice that it looks a little strange. Yeah. So it didn't load the texture for the mushroom for some reason. You can change that though by just setting the texture.
Yeah, that's
on the right panel.
You just drag it in here.
Or you can also do that, but it should be already loaded. You can just.
Oh yeah, it should be loaded.
It isn't though. I don't know what happened there. That's a little.
I kind of think I know what happened. Because we imported it, it created the object, but internally it was called texture 0.
That actually 071 fixed a bug that exactly is the same thing just for meshes, where it would reload the mesh if the texture is the same name. So you're spot on with that, and that's gonna be fixed in the next version.
I heard you grab your pen just to write it down.
Okay, but that's not a problem. You can just drag and drop as you were trying to do.
Yeah.
Because it will create a different name for that texture, so it'll not overload each other.
Yeah, but see, so you can see it's here. It just texture 0 is the name of the hammer texture. So if we just drop this one, if we go to the scene view and we drop it in here, we get the blue mushroom. Better. It looks great.
It's shiny.
And now we have this one.
By the way, just in case you ever need it, you can drag and drop resources from here onto the right. So if you try to drag and drop texture 0, try to drag and drop that to the right onto the texture field.
Here.
No, right, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So if you drop that there, it should replace.
Oh, that's nice.
And you can do that with almost all resources, like most resources that have some properties settable on the right. So they'll allow you to But
do I drop this on the? If I just pick like this one and I drop it on here.
Yeah, you have to drop it on the material property. So that's the second.
Oh, this one, yeah. Oh, cool. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to break things.
Yeah, so that's just a nice little tip to help you get around quicker.
Yeah.
And that's super shiny, so we probably want to remove the specular or make it
this one might be a little bit shiny. It's just shiny. Yeah. It's so one of those really nasty looking shiny. I'm not sure if you're going to see the shininess, but
yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
So now you can replace all those yellow balloons by just like selecting that and selecting a different mesh on the right here.
Can I just
set
it to mesh then?
Scroll down. It's I think the other mesh probably. It should be the second mesh. That's probably the hammer mesh, I would assume.
I have only one. Oh, I have a whole. Oh, I have 100 meshes.
There's a lot of them. Where are these coming from? That is not a good thing.
Can we focus this and? Okay, my light just flashed. Okay, that was scary. It's not even Halloween yet. But I assume, since we have this here, we have the meshes. Oh.
Yeah, look, you can.
The quest controllers. We can just say this one. I mean.
Yeah, but do me a favor, just rename that mesh so that we can find it more easily. Just double click that and then call it mushroom.
Yeah,
the thing is that
mushroom,
artists often aren't very consistent with naming their meshes. There's obviously great exceptions, but also it could be that Sketchfab is just like renaming everything.
Yeah, I think
the namings from all the GLTF files, but so here is a fancy way to just rename everything the way you want it.
I just realized I missed. I read the message from Donner from earlier. He says there is an extension in VS Code to do DLTF. We could have used that. I've read the message, but I didn't process the message. I'm sorry. Like from 10 minutes ago. He probably left already.
Extension do.
He doesn't even read my messages. I do read them. I just. It's pretty.
Oh, cool!
Tough
it has like a viewer in it.
What?
Bicesium. It's Bicesium. It has a viewer in it, so you can preview GLTF files and everything.
We have a question. If you can adjust the tiling on materials.
You cannot tile materials at the moment. You can. One exception is the the particle shader that works in a slightly different way. But currently, you cannot tile materials. That is because of the way that textures are handled. Timmy, if you can do me the favor, go to Scene View.
Yeah.
And then under Debug, select Texture Atlases. And then you'll see, okay, this is actually a 3D texture, 2 layers of a 3D texture that are on the GPU currently. And they're just like stitched together in a way that just hopefully makes them super efficient from shaders to access, because they have exactly one 3D texture to access. And they just choose the ranges on this buffer depending on which texture is set in the material. That allows us also to do everything in one draw call rather than have multiple draw calls to switch textures. I mean, to switch textures, because it's all one texture. So it can be given to one draw call, all textures at once.
But you cannot tile them here. But I assume if you would model something and have the UVs in a model tile, that it will go correct.
Yes. But you could not do something like have a plane with 4 vertices and have like the texture on it twice, like repeat itself. Repeating tile textures doesn't work.
No. You have to set it up in the mesh.
Yeah.
With
What you could do though, the shaders are all editable. You can find those in the editor root. I have no guarantee for the API gonna stay like that forever, but the GLSL shaders are all in the editor root under shaders. And if you want to add tiling there, feel free to do so. You can even duplicate the shaders and like create new shaders, have custom shaders for like new materials where like one is tiling font and one is non-tiling font. If you really need the tiling.
Anyway, we have a mushroom. So we have this little mushroom. We don't have the material yet. So
Yeah.
I just learned we can go to resources, materials. We can take the mushroom material and drop it in here. Now we have the mushroom material.
Yeah, now the mushroom is just really tiny. If you scale that up to 3 or 4 or something.
Yeah, we can do that. 3, we can try 3.
No, it's rotated. Why is it rotated though?
That's odd. It wasn't rotated before.
Yeah, that's probably because it had a root object that did the rotation.
Oh, yeah. It's probably because... can we just move this mushroom under the mole span?
Yeah, that would actually work, but this is the more efficient, more clean version. Like now you can delete all of those like huge hierarchy of nodes. Save first, please.
Save. I think we need to set this to minus. I'm learning quaternions. Minus 0.7. There we go. Quaternions. Who said quaternions were hard? I just read it here. I'm cheating.
Yeah, the nice thing you'll notice is it automatically like set your W axis, that W component of the rotation, so that it's normalized. But that's just a like small detail.
But now we can scale it in the right way. It needs to go bigger.
Yeah, it needs to be like a really big, huge mushroom, so that you feel endangered by it.
Donner asks if GLB files are supported yet, but the answer
yeah, sure.
It's already
GLB
answered.
Files OBJ files are imported, GLTF files, PLY, blend files to a degree, very, very low degree. We're basically using a library called ASIMP for importing assets, asset import library. And it supports like, I don't know, 50 different file formats, like file formats that you never heard of before. And to the most degree, we can import those. But there are limitations like GLB and GLTF are the only files that we can read skinning information from. So if you have like a skinned character, like with an animation on it, then you need to use GLTF or GLB for that. Doesn't really matter which one you use because it's optimized down to a binary format in the end anyway. We cannot load GLTF files at runtime yet. So in case you want to like load an avatar from Wolf 3D or something, then that is not something you can currently do easily. I'm talking too much, man.
No. That's the whole idea, right? I do have a mushroom. I was just looking at these. We have to go into into the models again and see if we can find a crate or something that kind of looks like the scene. So we have this. So we get a nice scene, and then we have a real game.
Definitely. So one thing that I realized just now is in the code you reset the transformation and rotation, and that will break this obviously because
this will be
now. Yeah. So we'll have to change the code a bit to make that work with that model.
Or we make a sub model below the mole span.
Yeah.
And set the mesh there.
Do that. That sounds like a good idea.
We just remove this mesh and then add the mesh one level. Can we move this to another?
No, we can't. Sorry. That's a cool idea though.
Then we're just going to abandon this mesh. There we go. add a mesh below this. And we say we want our mushroom. And we want our blue mushroom material. And now we are done. Now this is wrong. Can we reset this easily?
What? How is it wrong? Oh, because of the rotation. Yeah, just set it to 0.
Yeah, just by hand. There's no easy way of just.
No, sorry. Just reset X to 0 and it'll automatically normalize that to
this needs to be
1 at the end.
And then we need to go in here. And we need to go to minus 707. And we need to go to, I think it was 8. Yeah, it looks fine.
Great.
You just had your first crash. Oh.
Cool.
I believe we didn't have a crash yet on the stream, right?
No, it's insane. Like, how is this possible?
We're going really slow.
This application would crash like basically every third click or something. Cool.
It is that update.
Yeah, definitely.
I think
like, no, the last update was already pretty good. So it's like 0.6.3 basically was the one that was like already super stable. Yeah.
Yeah, the version I had before I updated this afternoon with the first update you published, and but the version I had before that was crashing all the time. When I started a server, I was going into VR and then it didn't work, and you go back and then it's crashed.
Yeah, we had like a race condition with the logging, and like the server and the packaging and the application would be logging all at the same time, and it wasn't like properly like managed with the threads and stuff.
Okay, that didn't work. I broke it.
You broke it?
Yeah. But, if I deleted the root node,
close and load the project again. Then it'll hopefully.
It's a karma. I cannot even delete this root node.
Yeah, just close the application, load it again, load the project. Sometimes the packaged version that you also see in the editor gets out of sync with the project. Mm-hmm. And if you delete, you update the project, but less of like the other things. So now it looks kind of okay. I don't know what those nodes. That's, I guess, leave them around. They don't like impact performance or anything.
No, but I want to remove this mushroom. Because I don't need a mushroom on the ground here. We added it to there.
So one thing you could try is just remove the smallest object, like the child of the child of the child of the child. Either like remove this.
I cannot delete
just try using delete over scene view. Otherwise, there's another option to hide it.
There it goes. Okay. If I do this, I go to the scene view.
Yeah.
Then it works.
Okay. Okay, cool. Then I need to make sure that the delete works in the scene line.
Oh, and that was the... Oh, we didn't even see the right hammer. That hammer we saw was the old model.
Oh, I see. Now we have to scale that up then, I guess. No, wait. I think what happened is that for some reason the hammer might have gotten reparented through the reload of the project. That might be another bug there.
Live debugging now. Is the model still in the resources still, or do I have to?
Yeah, it's still there.
Okay, so we can just drag this there.
That doesn't work because that's actually a cool thing. I never thought of that. That's actually nice. Drag and drop from.
So normally I do these things through a company as well, and they even pay you to do this. They just give you yeah. They just want your feedback and just watch you do things and break things, and then you get paid. That's really cool. There's a side thing. So we had it at the controller, right? But I think we should better add it as a sub component as well, because then we can rotate it and scale it independently of the controller.
Exactly. And later on we can add a collision component there, which makes it also offsetable from the mission also.
So we go back to it doesn't really matter. We go here, we create an empty one. We add a mesh this way.
So Donna Curley, the reproducible crash. Can you maybe list what you did to do that? Also, we have the Wonderland Engine Discord channel. If you want, you can just drop it all in there. There's a bugs channel in the server, the Wonderland Engine Discord server. Is a link to the Discord by chance?
I don't have, but I can. I have the.
I can
Normally,
send
I
you a
won't
link.
have Discord open, but I can. Is there a link to the Discord on the Discord?
There's a link to the Discord in the downloads page of Wonderland Engine. So people
Oh
can
yeah,
go there.
yeah. That's where I found it as well. So we go back. Let's leave this open. Let's go to Wonderland Engine. I read it somewhere.
Donna Canali, then I will probably need that GLB file. It's probably specific for that GLB file. You can, if it's below 2 megabytes or something, you can just upload it to the bugs channel.
Let me share the link to the Wonderland site again. There is a I think I've seen the Discord, but did it change?
No, it didn't change. It's in the downloads page, but you go to the downloads page, to the accounts page.
Wait, I better not do this. So that's the Discord. Lila asks if it's open source.
No, the engine is not open source. We're hoping to make WebXR viable as an actual platform and allow for huge scopes in WebXR. So we decided to make this bootstrapped commercial application to ensure that we can actually hire people and get people to help with it. And therefore it's not open source unless you get the enterprise version of it, which you probably don't need. And that will get you all the C++ source code. I'm pretty sure I'm missing questions here.
Yeah, so there we go.
With the enterprise version, you can customize it to your desire. That's what a lot of companies do with Unreal Engine, for example. They take the source code and make it basically their own engine to tailor it exactly to their game.
Yeah.
And extend it to something. So that is probably not something you necessarily want to do. If you would, as an enterprise customer, want to upstream changes to us, then we'd probably be super appreciative of that. But generally, that's probably not what people are gonna try to do because, obviously, with deciding that it's a commercial application, you'll have the problem that it's just a little bit more closed source. Not a lot of sharing is going to be going on. What we're trying to have eventually, though, is an editor plugin API, so you can actually write JavaScript plugins. We talked about embedding Node with npm and everything, and those can be obviously shared to any degree. So you can compare it basically to the times before Unreal Engine or Unity were open source.
Yeah,
I know Unity is not open source. It's still that way. You can compare it to Unity in that way.
Back in the day, we looked into buying the Unreal Engine.
Wow, cool.
And I think it was like $150,000 to get the start version.
Yeah,
it was incredibly expensive. So we did not do it. Our projects will just be too big, too expensive to be able to pay for that. But then that was way before they had the Unreal Engine like you have now. So you have to really buy the code and get access to that. And yeah, like I think it was $150,000 to get started.
Yeah, it's insane what like these enterprise versions of engines can cost.
Yeah.
But like it's like now it's open source. It's so crazy. Like I don't know. I worked with Unreal Engine back in the day, like 3 years ago or something, because I actually made the decision based on it being open source. Because I'm used to working with open source software and I like being able to dig into the code and figuring out like how things work. And that actually helped me get through a couple of hurdles with Unreal Engine back in the days because it didn't necessarily always behave in the way that I expected. With Wonderland Engine, it's more like the API is open source. So if you check out that Wonderland JS file, that's like the open source quote unquote part. The shaders are also open source. The WebAssembly runtime you can probably decompile if you really want to. But yeah, I don't know. You'll probably not need it. I hope my support will be decent enough to like fix bugs quickly. I don't know.
Yeah, in the meantime, I was just while you were talking, I was just adding mushrooms to the other two boxes.
Yeah, awesome. Liam Hamstern. No, Lila.
Yeah.
Sorry, I misread your name. Lila, you asked, I have been a bit on and off, but the engine only runs with JavaScript, question mark. No, the API is JavaScript, so your extensions of the runtime and your game logic runs in JavaScript. Everything else runs in WebAssembly, or in this case, like the editor is C++. Yes, the API is only JavaScript. You can probably wrap it in TypeScript. I think Donakali mentioned that they can add like some TypeScript files and then make it available. Donakali, the 286 kilobytes are the JavaScript bundle, and it's not minified. If you want to minify that, go ahead. You could probably easily do that. It will be minified eventually, and there's a lot of optimizations, especially with the WASM file, the WebAssembly file. We can get that probably down to like another half of what it currently is. But that is a lot of work that is currently just not important because no one actually shipped a game with it and complained about it. So that's currently like these kinds of optimizations are currently like bad. Oh, I see. Okay. Cool. That's a coincidence then. The JavaScript bundles are usually around that size too.
So we have a row component again. But there's still a yellow sphere here. But I removed the mesh. And it's still here. So I go to save and restart and see what's happening. Luckily it starts really fast.
Yeah. That's one of the things I learned from Blender. Like back in the days, there were all these comparisons between Blender and Maya and Max.
Yeah.
Where it's like Maya being like super slow to start up and Max being super slow to start up, and Blender already like sitting there twiddling its thumbs. I kind of think that like Unreal Engine is also kind of like always a bit sluggish to start, and I didn't like that. So, I mean, this application is super lightweight. I mean, it's 7 megabytes to download. Like, do it now. Download Wonderland Engine. Build a cool WebXR game.
Oh, there it goes. It crashed. We had a first crash.
Yes. What did you do?
I just was entering numbers.
Where?
In the scale. No, the rotation.
Oh, okay. Maybe you hit. Oh. Then it may not have normalized or something. You shouldn't change W. W is always set automatically. Yeah, see, the automatic normalization of the value will now mess this up for you. You have to change the W first to 1, and then change X.
Oh, okay, I can just eyeball it. almost. I
eyeball
1,000th. I'm off. So almost. Or is there snapping in there? Isn't right? I just eyeballed it. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still there. Sorry, I was distracted by Donna Connolly mentioned he has like 100+ different 3D file formats that he could be trying out, and I'm like very scared because probably 99 of them are gonna crash the Wonderland engine. But I'll at least attempt to load it. There you go. Just make sure to save your project before you try.
I think just Control S is your friend.
Yeah, Control S definitely is your friend with Wonderland Engine at the moment. It'll improve over time.
But it is with other engines as well. I had crashes with Unity as well. So it's not uncommon for applications to crash. If we package this.
Yeah, you need to start the server again.
Oh, so, yeah. We need to start a server again because we closed application.
You can start that either by hitting play, then it will also open the browser again, or just clicking on where localhost appears usually.
So I was wondering,
it should make it not refresh its viewport. That's interesting.
We should have to wait 7 seconds for a mushroom to appear.
Let's hope it does appear. You should move those controllers out of your face.
How?
Go to the editor and then.
But yeah, we can just
the location of the controller to 0 on Y. There it's. That's weird. Wait, why is this? That one is like somewhere completely different. But that right Quest controller.
If we just do this, now the controller is gone. I guess the model.
Yes, that is the case. But like the buttons and everything.
Oh, the buttons are floating still there. Yeah.
So maybe keep that active.
We don't need it anyway. Oh, this one.
Yes. And if you move the right, can you check non-VR camera? That's the position of the camera in the start, right? That's where the camera starts. And one of these controllers is at that position for some reason. It must be that one because the other one doesn't have a position set. So I think it's probably because it's rotated or something that you can't.
Both have a position set.
Okay, maybe just set that to 0, and then if you're lucky, then that'll fix that. Now it appears that would do exactly not what we want, but
we can just try it. I'm.
Yeah, doesn't look good.
Nothing happened.
Yeah, I think that's because the input component is actually setting it to 0.
Yeah.
It's confusing though because that doesn't happen in the VR apps. I know I fixed it in a way that is like that games can be played in 3D and XR.
And we have an issue with the texture as well. We have a couple of errors, and probably because of that the mushrooms are not growing. Can we do anything about it? We have.
Let me think real quick. That's a little awkward, but like these are both compressed, so that's good.
Yeah.
Since you packaged, that should be totally working and fine. Like if you save and just build the project again and then reload in the browser manually, will that fix it?
Just package again?
Yeah, package and reload the browser.
It automatically reloaded, but I can just really kick it. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Adding texture 3 to Atlas failed. We only have 2 textures.
There's the font.
Oh, the font, yes.
Also one texture, and there's usually a empty texture also. No, that is a little strange though. Let me think. How can this happen? Textures. One thing that you could check, for example, is can you check the contents of the deploy folder?
Yeah, we can go here. We can go show in folder. That's the fastest way to get there. I learned. Oh no, not models deploy.
Deploy has textures in it. It has textures 1 to 3 bases, and they have a decent size each. Um, can you check the console output again?
Sure. Can even make it. Oh, that's not the right one. Can make it bigger.
So what you'll notice is that if you scroll up a bit, then there's an invalid value there being printed from WebGL, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, that's a buffer overflow. That's okay. That's something different then. Because this happens until the meshes are loaded currently. Interestingly, it's fine adding image one, so that's a good thing at least. Uses DXT5, that's all right, but it still has an invalid value. So one thing, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but you can try not compressing these textures. If you go to images in the resource room and just uncheck compress for all of these.
Wait.
Yeah, that's fine. No, that's totally.
Yeah,
totally
the
right.
name of the source here has image one,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
in this one it doesn't.
Yeah, that's because that's a PNG that we manually loaded. Ah, I see. But no, it should be using the PNG, the other image for that texture. I think it's still packaging that texture for some reason. But that should not necessarily harm this in any way.
Models, textures. Yeah, there is something wrong with the textures. I renamed it. So this seems to have a reference to image 0 or something.
Yeah, so wait, images are the images itself. You can think of it, they are the contents of the texture. And the texture is referencing one of those contents plus some metadata, like this mag filter and the min filter.
Yeah, so this one isn't used anymore.
Yes, exactly. That one is not used anymore. But we'll have to keep it around. You can remove it from the project file manually, but that's like not necessary. We'll just keep it around. It shouldn't be causing much of a problem though. You can remove the compressed and see what that does. So if you do just uncheck compress exactly, and then save and package the project, we will see if that will actually do what I hope it does.
Yep.
And it's still not able to.
Now it fell in two different textures.
Can you hard reload this? Because it's still trying to load the. Okay, fine. Well, I guess we're out of luck there. I'm not sure what's happening. Maybe after the stream you can send me those files and I'll try to debug that. Until then, we'll just have to go with like untextured objects or something instead.
Yeah, but it doesn't work. Can we just remove the textures and re-add them? I mean, we can create manual textures, I guess.
Yeah, that doesn't really do much. I'm not sure.
It's not there yet.
I thought it's a thing.
So
what was so I suggest we give up on the textures because I think it's probably a bug hidden deep in the engine, and I'm just gonna look at that and hopefully fix it very soon. But until then,
okay,
we could be stuck with like you can use Phong untextured instead for the shader.
I can just change the shader then?
Yeah, you can just change the shader here in the material properties on the right.
Here. So just go to Phong. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So now it's untextured.
Oh, we need to select the mesh. Yeah.
And you'll see it looks really bland.
Can we do? Oh, no, we cannot select multiple. Oh, we can. Oh, we cannot edit multiple.
Yeah. And you can't really do anything with multiple selected objects. So
yeah, that's it didn't update. Huh. We have to just
to...
There we go.
Oh, I see.
Now they're boring.
That's interesting. That's another bug.
We are really bug chasing here. So now we should be able to package. Hopefully it doesn't want to load those textures still. Probably is.
Shouldn't be a problem. It'll survive not having loaded textures. But it probably also means that like the textures or like...
Oh, there we go. We have a mushroom, and it goes again, it goes away again. So that works. Too bad it just crashes when it didn't do anything with the textures on there.
Yeah, I'm like, this should be like one of the standard things that should just work. So I'm really confused that it doesn't work.
They seem to be a bit small. Are they smaller than here? No, they're not.
I don't think so. that would be... I would be very unhappy about that. What happened to the rotation there?
It just fell over.
Just
I didn't do anything. It just fell over. It's 70. Yeah, I'll type it in. 707.
I'll ask a question about stability on Linux. I'm not sure what you mean with like external editor and Linux. The editor supports Linux, and external editor, if you double click the file to open it with any editor, I think it'll open...
Yeah.
I forget what's the...
It opens... It should open the default text editor.
Yes. On Ubuntu it uses some special...
I ran into that before. I didn't have a default editor specified for JavaScript. So I got an error at first, a Windows error, that didn't know what to do with a JavaScript file. And then I set in the Explorer that JavaScript files should be opened with VS Code, and then it worked.
Yeah.
I want to try it in VR. I want to see how big the hammer is in VR. One thing we did, by the way, we didn't mention. So let me show that. So to get this to run in on the Quest, we enabled the port forwarding. So it runs on localhost 8080, and we enabled the port forwarding in the inspector. I'm using Edge, so it says Edge inspect. But if you have Chrome, you can just say Chrome inspect. You get this display, and you do the port forwarding, and then you can just open localhost from the Quest. I didn't know that. I was using my own domain to get that to work. But now you can run localhost on the Quest, which is pretty cool. And then you don't run into issues with the SSL certificates not being there and stuff. That's why we can run it in VR so easy. Let's test it out in VR. So, should already be reloaded, right?
Yes, hopefully. It looks like it.
Although we closed the server. Let's make sure.
No, that should be fine. It'll automatically reconnect to the server.
Oh, we see the top of the mushrooms. And the hammer is in the wrong direction. But I think the size of the hammer is okay.
It's actually kind of cool.
We just need to rotate it 90 degrees and 90 degrees. It is. The hammer is the right size to reach the mushrooms. And we might need to move them a little bit lower until you hit them.
Yeah.
Right. Cool. So yeah, we might need to. I think the size is great, but the controllers are probably rotated in the editor here already. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess if you just rotate that, what is it? the hammer, the empty, that empty object. If you rename the empty object, you'll probably.
It needs to go 90 in that direction, so it says degrees here. That's easy. 90 degrees, about 90 degrees. It's fine. There we go, and we needed to rotate it. There. So this probably should be 0 then. That's perfect. I should have guessed the 707 again. So that's fine. The mushrooms are too big now. They need to go down a little bit more.
Yeah, either that or you scale them down, but I don't know.
But I think the size is okay.
We haven't touched code in such a long time.
Yeah, exactly. And I really that doesn't. This is perspective. I was thinking this mushroom is smaller than that one. See it?
It looks like it.
Yeah, but it's if you move around.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
It looks small.
Is this perspective view, right?
Yeah, that's perspective.
It is smaller.
It's smaller. Like, click on one. It must have different scaling. This has 8 scaling, and the other
8.
What?
Oh wait, no, this is the the parent. I
was thinking if that was a bug.
That's a really weird one.
I wouldn't be able to sleep anymore. That would have scared me.
Bye, Rabbit. Have a great night. Thank you for hanging out and answering some questions. Double check these. And there. Other one. Yeah. So these are okay. Yeah, we need to add some code to make them disappear again. So you need to go down. So they move up, but with the sphere, they were like down enough. Now they're not.
Yeah,
so we move them
probably...
up 1 meter or move them down 1 meter. We need to move them down, well, let's say 1.5 meters. But that means when we start, we need to move it half a meter down.
Yeah. Either that or you keep it at -1.5 and remove the reset translation rotation.
Do it like this.
Yeah, exactly. Because then you have the numbers everywhere, and now you have to move it up 1.5 back though.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's quickly test this. Does it refresh automatically? It should have, right?
It hopefully did.
I don't see any mushrooms, so there we go.
Yeah, it works great. We should have an animation eventually, like the moving out and down, something like that.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we're going to make that today, because I really want to add something like a collider, so we know we hit them.
Yeah, let's do that probably on the mole spawn itself, so that we can access it from the script easily.
On the mole span.
Yeah, I just put it here.
Yeah, the mole span is the thing that moves. We can just if we take the middle one and I assume we can add a collision. Is that the one?
Yes, sir. You'll see nicely visualized in the thing as well. It doesn't really matter if it's too big, but you can like use a box, collider, access align box or something.
This one,
for example, and
then make it smaller.
It extends a bit.
Ooh, we can drag this.
Yeah, you can basically drag everything, but that is very dangerous. And dragging that is not very useful apparently.
Yeah, but this is in the wrong orientation. Or does it, if you make it smaller, it shouldn't really matter, right?
Yeah, you just put it to 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 or something. It's a global space, so it's not affected by the scale.
Oh, it's a box. I just
So you can probably double the height and make it like 0.6 because it's also extending downwards. And the height is, yeah, exactly.
So
now you'll
let's
see it roughly match the...
rotate a little bit. Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's add
Cool.
these to the other ones as well. It should be fairly quickly now. We know how to do it. We add a collision. We set the collision to ABB. We set this to 3, 6, 3. And now we have that one. And then we have another mole span on this side. Add component, collision. Let's do this one. 0.3, 0.6, 0.3. There we go. Save. And now we need to have something really colliding. Do we need to collide on the hammer as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Ideally add an offset or something to the empty. Like you probably need to, since collision components work by just adding the collider exactly where the object is, and since the center of the object is the bottom of the hammer, that would make sense, right? So we need an object to add an offset for like the head of the hammer.
We add an empty. Let's rename this to hammer head collider.
Yep.
And then we add a collision.
Sphere is probably great.
A sphere. Yeah, if we make a smaller sphere, that would be fine. And we need to move this to the right position.
G for...
Oh, wait.
G
It's
for
G. Yeah,
grab.
I was looking at not looking at my keyboard. I was just pressing F. So I think it needs to be a bit bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, you're probably you're whacking, so this is fine probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. So now, how do we get an event or something when we hit a mushroom?
So it doesn't work with events. You instead do query overlap. So you basically, on any of the, either on the hammer, you can create a new hammer component, or you query the overlap in the mushroom itself, which probably makes the most sense. So you just go to mold spawner.
Yeah.
And then in it, you'd get a reference to the collision component.
Okay.
Right?
How do we do that?
So what you do is this dot collision equals this with one S and 2 L. Is this dot object to get component and then add collision as string here.
Wait.
The type.
Did you see? Is
Look at
it the right one?
Yeah, that's the right one.
We have the IntelliSense. That's cool.
Nice.
So it's the type is a string, or is there a
That's perfect, and that's collision in this case. But collision is small.
the type collision like so?
Yes, and lowercase c. Otherwise, it will not find the component. And you don't need the index because the index is default 0. So
Okay.
Just work like that.
So this is the collision component of the mushroom.
Yep.
And now probably an update.
Exactly. In update, you would check all collisions with this collider, right? But probably only if it's alive or visible.
Yes.
You will.
So we do if is visible. Because if it's not visible, we should not collide with it because then it's in the thing.
Yeah. So if you do here query overlaps, and you won't get IntelliSense for that because it doesn't realize it's a collision component.
No, we could probably make it happen, but you know what? I'm going to copy paste. It's probably in the documentation as well, right? Close it.
wonderlandengine.com/JS API. And then collision component, perfect. And then you have
Query overlaps.
Yeah, if you click on that, you'll also see the maybe the websites.
If you click there, you should go here.
It's not well documented. What is this?
Who wrote this?
Who wrote this crap? This is like the function that needs the most documentation, and it has not great overlaps. Docs.
So we have. We can use let, right?
You can use let, yeah. You just can't use const for some reason. So, okay, so overlaps is hopefully you'd assume an array, but maybe you want to check the Wonderland.js file for how that is implemented. And you'll find it returns an array. Yeah, it returns list.
Oh yeah, it's an array
with new collision components. So it will wrap the returned overlaps as collision components, and there's no pooling applied. That is interesting.
So we get a list of the colliders or the objects that have the collider.
Yeah, the colliders, and you can use collider.object to actually get the object in case you need it, right? But what you probably want to do is you would go to overlaps length bigger 0 is probably exactly.
We are sure. It can only be one, technically.
Yeah, exactly. We can simplify the code here because we know that it can only be the hammer. If we would want to be a little bit more sure about it, we could, for example, do overlaps 0.object.name and compare that to the hammer name. That's one of the things that we could be doing. Otherwise, we could use collision groups to ensure that this is only the case, and also.
I saw something like that. Yeah, there were 8 or something.
Yeah, there's 8 predefined collision groups that are set as a bit mask.
So these, and then you can say, well, you just want to have this is group 1, and then you can only collide with other things that are also having group 1.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think for sake of time, we're just going to assume we have only one. If we have a length of 1, we have a hit with the hammer.
Yep.
So we don't need to do anything else. This is a hit.
Yes.
Now the question is, what are we going to do when we hit?
We're gonna rush this a bit. I'm gonna guide you through this here now, okay? Create a new parameter.
Yeah.
At the top, set its type, just copy one of them, and set the type to w.type.object with a default of null, and call that score display. Okay, now in the bottom, you would probably go
in the bottom
for where you have the overlaps, the length.
Yeah.
You can do score display dot get component, then text, and then dot text equals, and then score to string. And we will create a global score to just have the global score.
String.
Yep. Then you can create a var in the global namespace just above the register component. So in line 0.
Yeah. Var, this was score. We set it to 0 when we start. When we hit, we say score ++, we increase. We cannot restart the game. It doesn't matter, it just runs forever. I was thinking one more thing. Oh yeah, when we hit something, we need to reset it. We need to hide it. The score goes up with 1, but we hide it and reset the timer.
Yeah. So the same that
No,
Uh, setting
no.
invisible mode.
We should hide it, but not reset the timer.
So that pops up more quickly. That's cool.
No, because it's still visible. So it finishes the run for visible, but we move it out of the way. But we don't set visible to false, because as soon as we set visible to false, oh, we need to set visible to false, otherwise we can hit it
Yeah,
twice.
otherwise we'll have
Yeah,
a lot
just
of
need
points.
to this, and we can make it so that it's not showing up soon. But let's just do it like this. This is the easiest. So we just do the same thing as it would hide. So when we hit it, we hide it, but we get 1 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Let's set up that score display real quick.
Yeah.
Just like add a new object, maybe above the center cube or something, maybe with a little bit of distance.
Oh, just at the root. Yeah, that's also possible. Empty. Can. Oh crap.
Yeah, great. And then add a text component to that.
Text.
Yes, that will have weird orientation. So maybe move around that text component to just see in which direction the text is facing. Because it should be showing Wonderland Engine at the moment, so depending on the orientation, it is not.
Nope.
Okay, well that ends our journey with the text component there, because what you can try is save the project, and is that parented to the mesh? Maybe you can unparent that.
No, it's parented to the root.
It's just not clear. Okay, save the project, load that again. Maybe then the text will appear, if we're a little bit lucky. And there is no text, I think.
No.
Oh, that is very sad. I wonder what happened there. Well, I think in the runtime it might work. So,
we can just...
that doesn't help us because we can't orient it in the proper way. I'm going to look at that editor text. So how are we gonna output the score instead? Is it using the right texture, the vector texture? Could you check vector texture, make sure that that is, it's the almost
this one.
most, yep. Default font, there we go. Just select that and now see if it renders text. Come on.
Yeah, there it is.
There we go. Ah, God.
So now we just need to rotate it like this.
Yeah.
And maybe move it. I noticed I'm hitting the short keys from Unity.
Which are those? Maybe I should...
QWR. So there's a couple of things you can do. There was the QWERT, I think, for the options in Unity. To move, rotate, scale, and a couple more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm doing it again. So it's so in my brain that I need to press those.
Yeah, maybe I can like do some fancy thing where people can switch between normal key bindings and that.
Yeah, if people come from a Unity background, I think 3D Studio is using similar. I don't know.
I just used inspiration from Blender, so that's what I'm doing here. So if you open the spawner component, you'll have an object there, and you can use the object picker. If you just select the object picker, click on it once, and then click on the Wonderland Engine. Nah, that doesn't work, sadly. You'll have to click on it in the
view.
Yeah. It's still active. You can still click on it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And now do that for the other three too, and then it'll be pretty much done. Assuming there's no engine bugs.
There we go. Let's make sure this shows 0 start. Save, package, run and ship it.
Yeah.
Now let's test in the browser if it works. I'm seeing mushrooms. I cannot see the score because there is something in my way. I don't see the score here. Maybe. Oh, I need to start. I only packaged it. I need to start the server again.
This is really
I
annoying.
saw the zero. I saw the zero. There's the zero. There, up there.
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Awesome.
We have mushrooms. We have. So we need to try it in VR now. Hopefully the hammer. Check the console.
The hammer is like in your face. That's just like it's like you're inside the hammer. There's no JavaScript errors if you scroll up, because there's where like if you code like JavaScript errors in your JavaScript component, they'll be somewhere here, but very prominent.
Will that show as my JavaScript component then?
Yes. Nah, it'll show in the bundle, but if you click on it, the bundle is not minified currently, so you'll figure it out pretty quickly.
It's named bundle.
Yeah, there's no example here, but yes.
So if I filter bundle, I'd have only the bundle. If we should have an error?
Yeah. I don't think there's it's fine. It would be saying something like it'll be like 5 lines or something. So 5 lines of dark red that you'll not miss. Cool. This seems to work, so I'm excited to see what it looks like in the quest.
Go in VR. Let's whack some mushrooms. Okie dokie. Let's just go to VR. No, we need to refresh the browser. Oh, probably we had the server. Okay.
I guess the reloading is not reliable enough yet.
We have a score. The hammer is still in the wrong direction, but we can. The question is.
Yes, it seems like the collisions are not doing what we want them to do.
No. Trying to see if the collision is in place because the hammer is.
It's probably not the case. It should be offset with the hammer properly. So either it's like some code deep down. So what I would suggest, because sphere colliders are always more reliable. Mathematically, they're so simple that the code can't go wrong, pretty much. Maybe you want to just swap out the axis aligned box collider for the mushrooms with the sphere collider and see how that's going to do.
We can do that. And also we need to rotate the hammer again. So it's there. We need to rotate it. I think it should go in this direction now. Wait. I wonder, am I rotating the hammer?
Yes, you are rotating the hammer. I think the hammer has the mesh on it. So if you select the mesh, and
there we go. And we need to change these to sphere colliders. So we go here, we say sphere, and we need this to be a bit smaller so it kind of fits. Let's do 5.
You can try with 1 just to make sure that it's not that.
Yeah, but then we have to hit the base of the.
Yeah, you could add an offset later, but for now it's just to make sure that it's not the engine that is the cause.
Yeah, so I'm going to set them to 3 then. Then we know we are close to the mushroom. It's fine. Yes. Okay. Save. Reloading clients. So we go to VR. We should be able to see the changes. Oh. So many cables going on here. Hammer is still wrong. Not sure if I need to reload.
The only Miss Man user preferences is not trivial currently because the user interface library that I'm using doesn't support that quite yet. But they're working on that, so that's gonna be out of the box someday. That it'll just save the views as they are, even per project, if you want that. So I think it'll be there eventually. But with most features, it's like everything's possible, but not everything is possible at once. Wonderland Engine is a application like Unity Unreal Engine. It's a 3D editor interactive application to build WebXR games. So it runs, the runtime runs in the browser, and you can basically build VR games, virtual reality games on the Oculus Quest that run in the browser. Without having to fuss with the optimization yourself. So the editor does all the optimization for you.
So I updated, I remotely debugged into the Quest now, and we have a JavaScript error.
I think so. It might have, but it's the screen is black. No, okay, I see. So what would happen pre 071 is that the screen would just turn gray while you produce the error, which would make it super apparent when the error was actually happening. This is not the case anymore. Sorry, you'll. Let me see the error again. I think the error was not due to.
Score display is not defined, so I probably made a mistake in the code.
Yeah, it's this.score display. I somehow.
Also, this should be
Small camel case.
small camel case. Yeah, the first letter should be. It should be. Nice. We have a lot of this objects here. Those as well. But now didn't update. Interesting.
That's. Are you? Oh, because we restarted the editor. Watch JavaScript is off again.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that is actually okay. This is gonna be interesting. This might have crashed the editor. Can you restart the editor?
Sure.
As in, like, I'm very interested to see what it does when it now encounters the missing renamed property, right? Because it doesn't know the new name of the property. It doesn't understand that the old property is now the new property. Does that make sense?
It just says
Yeah.
unknown. So
It's kind of like, so yeah, you'll have to.
I was expecting it this way. The way. We now just have to set the text to the right thing again.
Yeah.
Not too complicated, but I also don't understand why the hammer is still in the wrong direction. I updated it like 3 times and it's still rotated wrong.
I think you need to rotate it once around the blue axis, so the Z-axis.
Do I have
because
it selected?
It should be aligned with the controller. If you zoom in to the like bottom of the exactly, then you'll see the controller there, and you'll see how it's like oriented that way. And if you oriented it in the same way as that, then
it should be oriented that direction.
Yes, but like facing up and down while it's now facing right and left.
Yeah, but it was standing upwards on the controller.
Yeah, but that's also not quite right, is it? Oh, I see what you mean. That's weird.
It was when I had the controller in my hand, it was rotated on to the side. So I rotated it again 90 degrees, and it's still rotated 90 degrees.
I don't know. I don't think this is an engine bug.
No, I think I will. You know, I will just figure it out. I just want it to work. For now,
yeah,
we are pretty close to have a game that's playable with some updates coming. Oh crap! I have too many cables going on. Oh, are we still live, right? Oh my.
Yeah, with the stream starting.
I just hit the restart button. Crap. I am fixing this. Yes, we are here. Let's make sure. Start it. Go into VR again. Oh, now the hammer is better. It's still rotated wrong, but you can rotate the controller. So let's wait for the one in front of me to appear. Come on. Yeah, it works. It works. Ow, that's what I meant. I'm hitting. That's why I wanted a big hammer. Oh, we have a game.
Oh, this is awesome! You have no idea. I'm really really happy that the engine made it this far in like 13 months. It's like it's been such a long way to a desert, basically looking for the oasis.
You understand? I will go continue working on this game.
I would think that it's pretty amazing if you would do that, and you may want to send me that project, like zip it up and send it. Because I would like to fix your textures.
Oh my! I am really excited. We got something.
Yeah, me too. You can't believe how excited I am. It's like, this is so awesome.
Just one. Thank you, Donner. 1 second, I need to hit a few buttons here. There we go. Oh my. So, I have the cables running across my desk from the Oculus to my laptop. It's going in front of me. But the Stream Deck is also here, and for the second time, I just pulled the Stream Deck off its socket, so it just fell on the desk. And I can control everything on the stream, so it's just amazing that I didn't break anything. I did break something, so the music is probably pretty loud now. There we go. Yeah, is there anything else we can do?
Well, I don't know, how long is the stream gonna run for?
Normally I end the stream. So my ideal time is 11:30, half an hour ago.
Okay.
Builder Argus asks what Wonderland is.
I think I answered that when he asked.
That was like almost 10 minutes ago. It's with VR. It's hard to keep an eye on chat. You go in and out of VR, and I cannot read chat from VR still. I'm looking at a solution, but I think I have to talk to Facebook to get that to work.
Donnerknalli, gute Nacht. Dir auch.
No, it was like half an hour ago when Florian left. Good night.
Oh, I see. That one.
Snapping, yeah. Yeah, there are a lot of these little what they called, little things that will make life easier, like snapping, like a toolbar, and I'm sure that will be there at some point. One
Definitely.
thing we haven't looked at, and I think it's in here as well, are animations.
Ooh, yeah. So with animations, though, you need to import something.
You need to import something with an animation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So this is like animation import more than it's like creating animations or something. Because generally the idea of Wonderland Engine is to be a really, really good WebXR development tool, like the best WebXR development tool, basically. But that's like what we're aiming for. Not to be a crappy 3D authoring tool. So we're trying to like keep all the 3D authoring out as much as possible. Like people create their animations externally, import them, and then maybe add some like game logic to it, like some events there where it's like usually you have like a string track where you can say, okay, this string is emitted in this frame and stuff like that. So that's kind of the stuff that we would eventually have, but yeah, everything else you just do externally. I'm a little sad that those textures don't work. Like maybe you can try again. Like just I don't know.
Just because we have to.
That should be fine. Just save and package. Maybe it'll just work. Otherwise, reload the editor, then the other ones will be changed too.
Check in the browser. Could be reload. Can we set a property or something to hide these?
Yes. Nope. That's the one at least has no texture. The other one I think is hidden because it has like some alpha texture on it. Oh, no.
Yeah, there seems to be something wrong. I updated this one. The engine itself didn't change internally or something. The other one.
If you reload the project, it'll update that. But try one thing. Try setting alpha mask threshold to 0 or to 1. I forget what it is, but maybe it's 0 and like rebuild and run this. I mean, I remember we had the issue where it like had an error. It couldn't upload the texture to the Atlas. So
now we see it. It's black.
What's going on?
Let's walk to the other side. Then we have the thing behind us.
That definitely does not look like a texture, though.
No.
Oh well. Anyway, I will have a look at that. I'll fix that for you, and with 072, hopefully, that will be fixed. Until then, you'll have to, I don't know, live with that, I fear.
Yeah, well, I'm going to package this. I'm going to send it to you.
Cool.
Yeah, I think we're just going to end the stream here, I guess.
If there's any more questions,
yeah, feel free to ask them.
Basically, as a good night Q&A session. It's pretty late for you too, right? It's just like 1 hour difference to Germany.
No, it's the same.
The same even. Oh, right.
Doing anything great.
So I mean, how was your experience? Maybe you want to like summarize what you think. If you see potential, I don't know whether it's more convenient than other frameworks, because I mean, you're like one of the most experienced with like all different sorts of frameworks, like, right? Unity used A-Frame, 3JS directly, and you used Babylon exporter for Unity, like all these kind of things, and idea of things.
Yeah, one I really like Unity. That's and comparing this to Unity is unfair, I guess. Unity is so much more and so much older than this. It's not. Yeah,
they have a huge team with like amazing people like that I follow on Twitter.
So it's really not fair to compare. If I compare this with what I do like is that it's not running in a browser. I like running things in a browser, but with tools like this, I'm not sure. The browser gets in the way sometimes.
I think so.
So I kind of like that it is not running in the browser. So things like right click, show in folder. You just have your files on your disk. You drop a file here, you open something, it opens in your editor. I really like that. It has a way to go to be. I mean, we ran into a lot of errors, a lot of things, and I think with V1, if those are solved, I think it will be a very, very useful tool. Especially for creating like the games and stuff. I'm not sure, is that the focus of the engine? Games? Like a game engine?
Definitely games. It's a game engine. We're trying to like, as I mentioned with Constructorcade, we originally hit the scope of what we were able to build in games, like just like Barista Express was basically the biggest game we were able to make without hitting like major performance issues. We're trying to expand that, like really make a game that is 10 to 100 times that size, by just like removing the need to optimize for people.
Yeah, I think that will be a big one. I think in Play Canvas we ran into issues with that DJ game we built. Have you seen that?
I think I saw some pictures on Twitter, but I was not able to join the stream while you were developing it.
So it was for a game jam. I think it was a VR game jam. Anyway, it was a game jam, and we built a game where people were dancing. But if there were too many people, we couldn't do too much lights. I think it was you, Donner, who built that light effect. So we had lights shining, and the idea was to have a lot of the lights shining like you have in a music hall, but that it didn't perform. We could not get the performance we wanted to get with the thing we had in our head. The game was fun. It worked. Picking up things, it worked fine. And yeah, we were learning Play Canvas as we go. I did really like Play Canvas, but then again, it was running in the browser. You have to use their JavaScript editor or code editor in the browser to write code, which is an issue. I mean, there is no. And now people gonna complain. There is nothing like VS Code. It's so.
There's nothing like it.
No, I know there are, but like the desktop editors, there is just, it's just a lot. You can. I like that you can use your own editors on top of things.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I also like to use my own version control. So like this project is like JSON based, so you have nice diffs and everything. Like
the project file.
The project file, the WLP. If you want to open that with Adam, no, what is it? Visual Studio.
I've got VS Code. Yeah, I've got it here.
So you see like
JSON. So
all the objects, resources. It's just very human readable JSON.
Yeah.
Like the components of the object, like you see the mesh, you see the type of the mesh. You could basically write this by hand. I really highly recommend not to, but this looks nice in version control. This is like, it's just like one of the small little things.
Yeah.
I really like Unity allows you to save files as text files, right? So you can check them into Git or something really easily and like have nice diffs to compare them and all. Unreal Engine though, with
technically,
for example,
yes,
binary.
Technically, yes, but the scene files in Unity are not. I think they're YAML, and they're all using like IDs and stuff. So it's really hard to. If you have a merge conflict on your scene file, it's not that you see right away. Oh, I need to have that part and mix it with that part and. That's not. There is a special comparer for the Unity scene files, for the YAML files, I believe, just to help you.
I'm not sure Wonderland is much better there, but I don't know.
We just don't go there. If we know we have to work very close together, which happens often at the moment, we just copy the scene file and work until it's done, and then copy it over to the other scene file. That works better than the risk of having a merge conflict on the scene file. That reminds me of something. Would it be possible to have multiple scenes here as well? I can imagine if we go like, well, this game might be too easy and doesn't need different scenes. But if things get bigger, and for bigger games, you might have 2, 3, 4 different scenes for when you are starting the game, have an intro, maybe have something else going on, like a cutscene, and then go into the game. Is that something you think about?
Yeah, of course. That's definitely part of like increasing scope for games. And you'll notice with 070, we got the loading screen, and
Yep.
that loading screen is actually just the Wonderland Engine scene that is
Oh,
loaded first. The editor doesn't currently allow you to manage multiple scenes. You would create multiple projects for that, and then like somehow load the bin files, which is currently no JavaScript API to do that. But that's something that could be added super easily, where you just say, okay, now switch to scene XY. And that's going to eventually happen for the reloading anyway, because at the moment it reloads the browser, right? But that's kind of a waste of time. It could just be using a reloading the bin file. The bin is, by the way, the binary file.
mm-hmm.
You can see it here in the console on the right. It's like the third to last line. That is the meshes, texture metadata, some images, and like all the parameter data, all the material data, all the shader data, everything packed into one binary file that is just more or less memory mapped into the WebAssembly memory. And then it's like super quickly loaded. And this file is usually below 1 megabyte and contains everything more or less. Probably if you have bigger projects, it's gonna be a bit bigger, but yeah. So that's one scene, and you could be just loading another bin file, and then you'd have a different scene, right? But you'd obviously have to like copy components and wouldn't be able to easily carry over things. So there's gonna be an additive way to load scenes eventually too, but yeah, might take a while.
Yeah, and you will run into other kinds of issues with loading scenes, because you want to have objects that are like in the scope of the scene. You want to have objects that are overall, that are loaded once and just kept from when you switch from scene to scene. So yeah, there will be weird things.
Yeah, but that is definitely also something that I'm planning in the code to be able to implement it sometime in a realistic time frame.
Yeah.
So like the code is laid out to support all of these kinds of features, but it's gonna take a while. You should though with 080, we'll have cluster forward shading, which means you'll be able to have 1,000 light sources in your scene, and hopefully that means you can implement the disco game in Wonderland Engine.
Well, we might try that. It's a nice goal to go rebuild
2
the
months.
game.
2 months, I guess, until that release. So.
Oh well, we could do. I'm going to add it to my planning. So I'm trying to make a planning for the streams, see what we can go and things we can do in the future, and also plan for game jams. I really like to do game jams, and even though I might just not get something finished, or I think working on something for a game jam is pretty fun. So Halloween is coming up, so there's a lot of horror themed game jams. So I want to do, and we're working on with Unity in VR for a couple of streams. I might try and go that route for a couple of streams, and after that, so from November on, we are not sure what we're going to do. And then later on this year, we could pick up Wonderland Engine again, and yeah, maybe build a complete game, more complex game in there.
Yeah, sure. Sounds great. I mean, I'd be very honored if you'd finish the Whack-A-Mole and publish that on Constructor K. Can be like super simple, just a small mini game.
Yeah.
But that would be amazing to have someone release a game with Wonderland Engine that is not us. And like I said, I'm gonna look into the texture issue for you, so that that is fixed soon. And apart from that, I don't know.
Yeah, well, sure. That's something that would really make this game, this simple game, better. Then if I add a texture to the ground and replace the cubes with like something else, it will be pretty cool.
Okay, so we're not using the strengths of Wonderland Engine really well here. Like what I would recommend is add like 100 trees and different plants and something around this like scene, just like as scenery, because all that stuff is kind of for free. Like you don't have draw call issues with Wonderland Engine. That's like the amazing thing, and every one of those objects can be moving. It's like not some static mesh thing that is baked or something.
That might be something we can do for that dance game.
Yeah, for example, the dance game, it could be even using skinning, though I'd be careful using skinning because I'm not 100% sure how good the performance is with like that kind of amounts of I don't know, players. But
yeah, I think we had this we had that kind of working.
Yeah.
With play canvas. We just imported a model, and there is I forgot the name. There's this tool you can just upload your model, and you can add animation to it.
Okay.
So we use that, and then we create like 3 different. Sorry.
Mixamo?
Yeah.
Adobe Mixamo? Yeah.
And then we had like 3 different types of dances. So you had to keep people dancing, and then if by color, we can share the link.
Donna Knolly, yes, you can add custom shaders. It's not like super officially supported, but if you check the engine root, there's a shader subfolder, and you'll find all the fragment shaders there.
Maybe I should search for WebXR.
Oh wow! This needs to be on ConstructorCade. Is this actually possible to have on ConstructorCade, or does Play Canvas not allow to self-host? Oh, I think they actually recently, with the free plan, now got self-hosting.
Yep. And I got a pro license from the JS13K Games competition, so I can even do that. But we have to try it in VR, of course. Wait, I think since we have that whole thing open, we go inspect, and we just replace this URL. Should load this URL. Yep. Oh. I'm not sure if you can hear the music.
I can.
The music is coming from the. This is a demo. It's a demo video of the game.
On
YouTube, but this is basically the game.
Run game.
Yeah. Are we going to run the game? Oh crap! It's still. That's funny. It's not working. Let's go home.
I remember this issue. What was this? Huh.
Let's.
What's this?
Stop that.
VR 360. Oh no, that doesn't. No,
maybe I think I didn't open it with HTTPS or something.
No, it is HTTPS. I can still see your inspector.
Oh, you can see my inspector. Yeah.
But like, I guess this just full screens it instead of like there is no VR button, right? Where's the VR button? Usually there's a.
Yeah, that's odd.
Because
there should be a
full screen.
There should be a VR button. Oh, maybe if we go play. No.
And then exit the full screen, maybe.
No, it just said restore the game. Oh, that's bad. That's why I get only bad reviews. Let me check. We can go into. It's odd. What's it doing here? They're just playing full screen. Yeah, the moving lights are great. Yeah.
They do look cool.
Just let me log in. We should be able to play it from here as well. if we copy this link. Still thinks we're inspecting localhost. Now this might work. Now we can select a song to play. So let's do Tiesto. It should load the music from SoundCloud.
Oh, SoundCloud, cool. Okay.
And whoa, it's not working.
Whoa, that's weird. That looks like a play canvas bug though.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. All engines have bugs.
Oh, there we go. Can you see it now? We don't have music.
Yep.
So you have the different colors, and there are records beside you here. So you can pick a record. For example, let's pick the blue one.
Oh, that's
My microphone is in the way. So we can play the blue one, and now if you start playing blue, everybody that has blue should start dancing. And if we do, or it should match both of them, so we can pick the pink one. Now we have now everybody that has blue and pink or magenta should start dancing. And as long as they are dancing, it's fine. Now we can keep them at blue, so they will stay if we only pick blue. So if we take, like there are a couple of blue ones, one with red. So if we take the magenta away, the microphone is in the way. So if we take magenta away, and just drop that one. And now everybody with red, blue and red also starts dancing. And the other one that has only half then slowly decays and doesn't like the music. There will be some point where if you don't play the music exactly that someone wants to hear, they will lose interest. As you can see, there are different types of dances, and we can just go for the white one. I see a couple of. So now you can see down here we have 5 happy dancers. I kind of like the glow effect you get here, and it kind of feels like you are in a dance hall. Now the music didn't work, but you can load the music from SoundCloud. I didn't want to include any music in the game itself, but a lot of cayenne with whites. There we go. Just keep them happy. Yeah, it didn't want to have anything to do with music licenses, and don't include any music in the game. But I added a couple of links on live mixes on SoundCloud. You should be able to add and load. So that's
really awesome. I really love the concept.
Yeah. And we finished it in like 2 weeks or something.
Well, that's pretty nice. It has a lot of bloom on it.
And it will be very cool to take this to the next level in Wonderland.
Eventually, yes, that will be possible. You'll need to wait for the rendering release, though.
Yes.
But bloom, for example, that glow effect is already implemented. That's coming with the next version.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
That's cool. But I think we're going to end stream here for today. I will be back next Monday. Monday we will be preparing in Unity again, I think. Although this game is kind of interesting as well. I'm not sure at the moment, but the plan was to go and do some Unity on Monday again to prepare for the game jam, which starts next Wednesday, I think, and build a horror game. I got some ideas for a horror game that should really go under your skin, and not with the scary effects, but just be creepy. So maybe we can build that. For now, I think we're going to raid Kello Creation. We didn't raid him for a while. Jonathan, thank you so much for hanging out. I had fun.
Having me on the stream. I had a lot of fun too.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you again. Let me share the link to the engine again. If someone is still wondering what we're talking about, that was what we're talking about. You can get a trial at the at that site just to play with it for a while.
And if you want to support us, you can obviously also get one of the licenses. The community license will probably be fine. It's 75% off because it's so early in development. So maybe you want to like grab it now and then profit from that for 12 months. It's more to support us. I don't expect you to necessarily already want to do something commercially with it, but theoretically, it's almost in the state that you could with 0.7.2, maybe with 0.7.3. That's the next two bug fix releases that are incoming. Yeah.
And we got a lot of those for you today.
We have a lot of bugs that I can be fixing for the next version.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. And yeah, we're going to end the stream here, and I will see everybody again on Monday. Have a great weekend, and thank you, Jonathan. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.